who will probably be joining us eventually today. But today's been a busy day, which is not unusual in the era of Trump. I tell you, the Trump administration probably does about 10 to 20 times more shit than the Biden administration does. Whether you like Trump or not, there's no denying that his administration gets a lot more done than the Biden administration ever would have. Now, I'll repeat, there's a lot of folks that do not feel like everything they're doing is good. That's left up to you and your politics. But the Trump administration does a hell of a lot more than Biden's administration could have ever dreamed of. In fact, I would submit to you that Trump's administration probably does more in 1 week, than Biden's administration did in several months. Probably about 3 months of Biden is compressed in 1 week of Trump. Trump's administration accomplishes more in a week than Biden's administration accomplished in about 3 months. However, I will add, as I stated a minute ago, that don't mean it's all good. That doesn't mean it's all good. I'm not a fan of some of the things going on with ICE in Minnesota. And that's why you see the graphic behind us asking if ICE, if they're becoming the new bad guys, if they are becoming the new bad guys. And I do want to, we got a few topics here today, but one that I'm going to be asking you folks several times throughout the day. I'm going to be asking you, because we're talking about ICE being the bad guys. Is TikTok the app, the social media platform, is it becoming the new bad platform of social media? Because I've seen content creator after content creator indicating they're being censored, their videos are being taken down, certainly if they're critical of Trump or they lean left. I don't know for certain. I can't say vehemently that it's happened to me yet. Blue One, appreciate the TikTok cap. Rod S, thank you. Starting the program off right. I appreciate that. I can't personally say that I've seen a lot of censorship from TikTok since it switched over to a Trump-friendly owner, because I was getting censored before that. I was getting somewhat censored before that, but most of my work is live. So the videos I post, whether or not they fuck with them, it really doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter to me, on TikTok at least. So, but I'm hearing folks state that their content is being censored on TikTok. I'm bringing this up because I want to ask you folks, and I'm going to bring this up several times throughout the live. If you know of, and thank you, Rod S, for the TikTok cap. Appreciate that. Helping your boy start out with the goal. Thank you for your support, Rod S. I'm going to be asking you guys if you know of other platforms that are similar to this format that you could recommend. Please do so. We're currently on Clapper, Rumble, X, Truth Social, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. I prefer platforms like this where we can talk, preferably in a vertical format, and certainly if I can bring up callers. You know, I like to bring up my MAGA viewers and liberals alike. James Harper, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So we're looking for other platforms. Not that we're going to be leaving TikTok, but just in case TikTok decides to get rid of us, because there's a lot of folks on social media, mostly the ones that lean left, complaining that there is censorship taking place. Now that I believe Oracle or something like that has TikTok, and in the CEO or the ownership of Oracle are Trump-friendly guys. I don't know. I haven't, like I said, I haven't experienced it to a significant degree, but I do strongly believe that even though President Trump complains about censorship and fake news, in reality, he's not against it. In reality, MAGA is not against censorship or fake news. They just want it to be done in their favor, is my analysis. I don't think MAGA has a problem with anything said that's incorrect or inaccurate on Fox News. They just don't like it on MSNBC now known as MS Now, or stations like CNN or your mainstream media. But if right-wing media says something that's inaccurate or false, I don't think they, for instance, how many statements have been said that were completely inaccurate about Alex Preddy? I've heard folks in the Trump administration that states he came at ICE agents with a gun in his hand. That's completely false. There is not any video evidence whatsoever of this man ever holding a firearm, not to mention coming at the agents. And that came from the Trump administration. You don't hear the right complain about misinformation like that at all. And that came from the very top of our government. No word about it at all. But if that was on MS Now, or if it was on CNN during the Biden administration about a MAGA gun owner, they would be all over it. So I do want to point out that I believe that MAGA is okay with fake news and false information, just as long as it happens to be in their favor. So we'll talk about whether or not we need to leave TikTok. But right now, TikTok is strong, and hopefully that doesn't have to happen. But I'm bringing it up simply put because I want you guys to recommend other platforms. And in the comments real quick, Leroy Maston asks who said Kristi Noem's statements were terrible. I'll just give you Kristi Noem, for instance. Her statements were horrible. Not to mention President Trump said stuff. No investigation has been done, and they're calling the guy domestic terrorist and all this other stuff, saying he showed up with 2 magazines with the full intention to hurt and injure as many people as possible. That's not based on any factual information whatsoever. They've called this guy an assassin. That's not based on any factual information whatsoever. No evidence, no manifesto. There's nothing out there to suggest this guy was coming to the protest to assassinate people. So, like I said, the right is okay with fake news and misinformation, just like many on the left are, as long as it's in their favor. Fox News can say anything that's not true as long as it's in the favor of the right. So we're going to talk about all that, but that's not all we want to discuss today. But yeah, if you got recommendations for alternatives to TikTok, I'm gonna certainly be asking for that throughout the show. Looking in the comments, I see somebody said, "Brother is called the end of black masculinity." What the hell is he? I don't even know what that is. Handsome Conservative says, "Sorry I'm late to the program. As always, support the handsome liberal." You coming in right in the monologue, Handsome Conservative, so you are not late. First thing, political violence is on the table. Ilhan Omar, albeit not anything damaging to her, was attacked by someone while hosting a town hall. Apparently, the individual just threw some spray or something on her. I mean, sprayed her with some sort of liquid. It's apple cider. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was harmless. It was harmless. However, the fact that he was able to get close enough to her to actually throw liquid on her shows that she needs more security. I mean, we all remember Gabby Giffords. We can talk about Charlie Kirk and some of the more recent things, but by the way, Charlie Kirk's, it's going to take a lot to have security to prevent that because it got popped in from a long ways away. But Gabby Giffords is another one. Congresswoman out of Arizona. I believe she is the wife of, what is the guy's name? Senator, the astronaut guy. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. I guess you guys know who I'm talking about, but he might be a presidential candidate in the future as well. Mark Kelly. Yeah, Mark Kelly's wife. Gabby Giffords was literally popped in the head with a 9mm, and this affected her for the rest of her life, speech, cognitive abilities, and things like that. Ilhan Omar is absolutely in the crosshairs of President Trump. Talks about her constantly. It's 100% negative. And a lot of MAGA takes his statements to heart. Why she would be hosting town halls without any security at this point is crazy. It's crazy. You got folks that believe that she is partially responsible for millions of dollars of Minnesota taxpayer money going to Somali immigrants, and that she is literally funding terrorists in Somalia. Can't be up there without security when people are saying it. Not to mention they're questioning how she's made millions of dollars as a congresswoman. as if that's unusual. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Pelosi, the whole lot of them do that. That's kind of common after being a representative for a while to be worth a ton of money. That's fairly normal. Anyway, looking in the comments, Handsome Conservative says, I know you're going to disagree, but to answer your question, Clapper or Rumble, perfect platforms to replace TikTok. You can bring up guests on both and get subs. True. And I've brought up guests on Clapper. Clapper began censoring me a long time ago. If you go to the Handsome Liberal on Clapper, you'll see I got probably a dozen videos over a span of a couple months that all have 0 views. Occasionally, I go back to Clapper and post a video of a current topic just to see. They all get 0 views. So something has happened to the account on Clapper. I can still go live on it, but if they're not showing my videos to anyone, I don't know if they would do the same. I don't know what they might do to the live. I just don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of censorship going on in the Clapper. And on Rumble, they don't get much viewership either. So I tried both platforms, by the way. Anyway, continuing on with Ilhan Omar, I want you to hear a clip and we'll discuss.
Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
President Donald Trump dismissed an attack against Representative Ilhan Omar, who was sprayed with an unknown substance by an attendee of her town hall event in Minneapolis. Trump told an ABC reporter, quote, I think she's a fraud. I really don't think about that. She probably had herself sprayed knowing her. But Republicans.
Now, why would he suggest that she staged something like this? I mean, now keep in mind, when Trump fell on the when Marjorie Taylor Greene fell on the wrong side of President Trump, she also started suggesting that she was getting doxxed and receiving all sorts of threats. And Trump said something similar about her. He said something similar to the point where I don't think her life is in danger. I don't think nobody's messing with her or anything. So if Trump doesn't like you, going through an awful event is not going to make him show you any sympathy. I'm just going to tell you that. The idea that Marjorie Taylor Greene, or better yet, the idea that Ilhan Omar staged this event, I don't know where the hell that's coming from. However, I will defend Trump by saying the assassination attempt on Trump in Pennsylvania, rather. A lot of liberals are saying that was staged by him as well. Oddly enough, I haven't heard anybody suggest what happened to Kirk was staged. Well, yeah, I have. Wait, take that back. Yes, I have. A lot of folks don't believe Tyler Robinson did that either. So, look, if somebody takes you out in political violence, there's going to be people that don't believe it's a legitimate hit. But I don't know why the president would get involved in saying something like that. I think that should be beneath the office. But with President Trump, my God, he's lowered the bar to the point where it's literally Lord and snake pussy. In the comments briefly here, everyone you mentioned participates in insider trading, says CIA Hunter. Well, because it's not against the law. My guess is most of the representatives in Washington and probably even at the state legislative level participate in insider trading. They didn't make it a crime. So it's probably happening with most representatives. Look, if people are making a mint and you're a congressman and you can do the same, why would you not get involved? They're going to let you get away with it. Why would you turn down millions of dollars? So I think they're probably all involved in it. CIA Hano, thank you for your input and your support. Real quick, continuing on. Now, we got a few topics here. This one here, I don't know. And by the way, Ilhan Omar, I have a hard time believing that he would, or she would rather stage her own, dousing or whatever the hell you want to call that. But I do want to also give you another clip that is coming from Marjorie Taylor Greene, since I just mentioned her.
And then, quote, you get one person a little bit wrong. The execution effectively in the streets of Minnesota on video is one person a little bit wrong.
That's not the right clip. So we'll move it. That's not the right. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is suggesting that Trump is deliberately leading us into a civil war. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Marjorie Taylor Greene is indicating that Trump is deliberately leading us into a civil war. I certainly want to hear from you folks on it. She had a little bit more to say. I don't know why I don't know where my timing is off on that clip, but I do want to eventually play what she said. And last but not least, this came on while I was preparing for the show. This news broke on a Fox affiliate.
We are following some breaking news that we wanted to share at this hour. This is a social media post from Fox News saying the FBI is executing a search warrant at a Fulton County election office in Georgia. Fox News is told it is related to the 2020 election. And I wanted to share this live look with you of that specific election office. You can see that there is some police officers there outside, as well as other individuals, and a little bit more information on this. As you can see, the entrance here of the Fulton County election office there in Georgia.
So they're in there taking all of the voter rolls and everything. So my guess is they're going to probably end up knowing who you voted for, no matter who you are in Fulton County. That's where Atlanta is. That's where this is the main blue county in the bluest county in Georgia, which is, I mean, there's no, I don't think there's any secret why this particular county is where they're hitting. I don't think there's any secret. I mean, President Trump made it clear he thought when he said the election was fraudulent, he went to all of these deep blue counties that have a lot of diversity in the states. I mean, he said Michigan was committing acts of fraud. He went to Detroit. Wisconsin, he went to Milwaukee. Arizona, he went to Phoenix. Georgia, he went to Atlanta. I mean, so he was targeting diverse counties as if there is no fraud in Georgia happening in any of the deep red counties. It's only happening in blue counties. You take it as you must, but addressing this 6 years later is crazy. Last but not least, I said that once, but I'm going to say it again because there is one more topic. I think today we may have came close to committing an act of war. I've been pushed and criticized by MAGA for suggesting that Trump has gotten involved in several acts of war. And the only thing that's prevented us from going to war is the fact that the folks he's doing this stuff to don't have the ability to fight back with America, whether it's bombing Iran, removing a dictator in Venezuela. I mean, we've hit a lot of countries, Syria, Yemen, allegedly bombing some kind of Christians in Nigeria. I mean, he's bombed a lot of places. The people just can't fight back. Here is one that happened on U.S. soil today in Minnesota, of all places. Could be viewed as an act of war.
And playing out at the Ecuadorian consulate with federal agents trying to enter. A staffer got into a confrontation with at least one agent. Ecuador's Minister of Foreign Affairs filed a protest with the U.S. Embassy after that incident.
Let's go live to Brittany Ehrman with more on ICE trying to get into the consulate in Minneapolis tonight. Brittany?
Well, Kevin and Lindsay, this is the Ecuadorian consulate. It's closed right now, but we're working to find out why ICE agents were trying to enter. Consulate officials say they did not have permission to enter the building, and law experts say that could have serious consequences. Now, this incident happened at the consulate of Ecuador, located on Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis. Video shared on social media shows a consulate staffer running to the door to turn the ICE agents away. The staffer can be heard saying, quote, "This is the Ecuadorian consulate. You're not allowed to enter." I
want to respond to a couple comments. Cowboy CC, sorry to see you go, says I'm out. I guess he's heard enough. Jamie Bang Bang says they don't need permission. What the fuck? Yeah, you do. A consulate, an embassy, is considered sovereign territory. It would be just like if we parked a U.S. aircraft carrier. When they go overseas and they park, off the shores of some other country, that aircraft carrier is U.S. sovereign territory. You can't board that, even though it would be in the territorial waters of some other country. That's considered our territory. To step on that carrier is officially being in the United States. Any embassy, any and every embassy is considered sovereign territory of that country. You don't walk into an embassy without a warrant. ICE can't just come walking into an embassy. You're invading sovereign territory at that point. Why don't people know that? He says they don't need permission. By the way, ICE actually should require permission to walk into any building, even if it's your home. But to say they can't just walk into an embassy, that's not true. You can't even if the owners of Walmart told them they couldn't come in there, they can't just an embassy. Where do we hear that? That's actually not true. But I'm amazed at how many folks in the comments are saying that ICE can just walk into an embassy and do whatever they want. Wow, that is amazing. So, guys, folks, this is the show. You guys know how it's ran. We are MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. This is an uncensored program. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome on the program as well. What do we say? Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. So you're going to hear comments from all sides of the political spectrum, and they won't be censored because we're all about free speech here. You can be critical of anyone, including yours truly. So looking in the comments, if they had a warrant, they would have went inside. Yeah, and if they had a warrant, they would have had the right to go inside. But to show up without a warrant, trying to get inside by force, it's against the law. It is against the law. Barack Obama lowered the deficit 21 to 8 trillion, giving us a deflation and a better economy. Okay. Tim, why wouldn't they just let ICE into the jails and arrest these illegal immigrants before they have to get them in public? Under the Trump administration, probably because they think ICE is too heavy-handed. I'm just speculating. That's all because listen, if someone has committed a major Class A felony, I think they should let them in the jails to get that person. I really do. But the way ICE has been doing things, deporting folks to countries they've never been to and sending them to prison in CCOT down in El Salvador when they had no serious criminal history, I can see why folks may not let ICE get a hold of them. Also, let's be clear. ICE is not just trying to get their hands on rapists and murderers. They're trying to get their hands on every fucking body. Period. If your asylum claim got denied, you're just as good as a rapist or a murderer to ICE. They're not treating you any differently. If you came to the border, put in an asylum hearing under the Biden administration, and you've been living here with a court case going on, Trump becomes president and ends your asylum case, ICE is going to look for you and treat you just like a rapist or murderer. That is why a lot of folks are not cooperating with ICE, as they believe their approach is heavy-handed towards people that probably don't deserve it. You can speculate and you can come up with your opinion on whether or not you agree with that. Let me go to the box, and I see in the comments, Sheldon says, bullshit, Tim. Sheldon Walsh. Any relationship to Tim in Minnesota? Let me go straight to the box. We'll go to Sunflower. Good evening, Sunflower. Welcome to the program. Now,
Hello.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah. Do you agree with some of the viewers that ICE can walk into any embassy without a warrant?
No, it's the same way as our embassies around the world. You can't just walk into them.
Yeah.
So
And
that's just crazy. But they always have an excuse. They're full of excuses. Like there's no end to excuses for them.
But you raise a good point. Like you said, it's just like our embassies around the world. If we do suggest that we can walk into anybody's embassy without a warrant, that would open the door to all the other countries that say, well, we can walk into yours.
Absolutely. And how many times, you see, even in movies where they have the American citizens running to the embassy for safety, you know, that there's a reason that they're there.
Yeah,
and to even test that is just crazy. And I also believe that he is trying, and this is my opinion and all fact, that he is trying to start some kind of war inside the country to prevent the next election from coming.
And by the way, that happened to, I think his name was Christopher Stevens. That was the old Hillary Clinton, Benghazi. Wasn't that the folks were in the embassy and they went in the embassy and ended up killing four of our, I think something like that happened where you're right. They went in the embassy for safety and the embassy ended up getting overrun. There was they don't have to ask. They can come in here anyway. No, they were not supposed to come in the embassy. So
yes, that gave us a reason to fight back too.
Yeah.
So, and be retaliatory for that. but it's they can't just walk in. That's just not okay. But I feel like they've been given the authority to do whatever they want, however they want, and to upset as many people as they could possibly upset, because the whole goal is to have distress, right? If you want to prevent this next 2026 election, the best thing to do is to sit there and be like, hey, there's an insurrection and now we can't have the elections.
So
Yeah.
you believe now? Many suggest that the goal of ICE is to simply protect the border and get the bad hombres out of here. You're saying there's a different goal.
Yes. Well, if you think about it, how many times they come up and tell you, oh, Obama deported so many more people than Trump, right?
He said a lot.
But yet he didn't have to do all this. Americans weren't dying in the street, so there's a big difference.
But they're going to say that the only reason folks are dying in the street is they're interfering with the duties of ICE. They're obstructing justice.
Yeah. But then they're letting their eyes lie to them, because you can just look at the last fatality that happened. Video from every corner, there's no way that ICE agent tried to even he kept pushing the woman multiple times when there was no cause for it. Maybe he was pissed off or whatever, but you know what? You have a position to do. You need to keep your cool, or you don't need to be holding a weapon.
What about
that's just the way it is.
What about Sportster's kid in the comments says they should have stayed at home? In other words, if they had stayed at home, Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretty would still be alive.
Oh, yeah. Well, they could have said that to people standing up to, Adolf Hitler. Hey, just bow your head down. Don't look the other way. Don't look at your neighbor getting robbed. It's not your business. Don't call the cops. You don't want to get involved. That's what it sounds like. It's like, when did the Republicans come to bow your head, say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, look the other way? And I don't understand it. It's like they've gone against everything they stood for, even right now up to the Second Amendment right. Now, if you carry a weapon, you're just considered a criminal. It's crazy. Wow. They've changed their views on just about everything, from religion to carrying weapons across the board.
I don't think they've changed their mind on what they stand for. I think there's a hierarchy. I think that MAGA stands for Trump, period. So any other concerns can look. If Trump goes here, we go here. If Trump wants that, we do that. I don't care what I said yesterday. If Trump wants something different today, then I stand for that.
Yeah. When he did that interview where he said he could shoot somebody and his followers would still follow him, this is proof. There's no other proof that you possibly could use. What president goes out and makes claims before an investigation? What president goes on national TV, blames a victim before even knowing what the deals are? No, you can't go out there and, as the president of our country, say, oh, this is what this man was doing. And then when the video gets out, now you're all pissed off because you're like, oh, well,
Well, I guess I would ask this because there were several citizens filming what took place with Alex Pretty and with Renee Nicole Good. But let's go with Alex Pretty. If the citizens were not around filming what happened and it was left up to the federal government to tell us why Alex Pretty lost their life, what do you think they would have told us?
They're lying with us seeing what happened. They would tell us that he shot 25 people and there's people in the hospital and, the guys barely made it out alive, and they would have thrown more weapons on him. He had assault rifles and everything at that point. Literally, if they can lie right to your face when you could physically see the video, and there are still people on the right tell you that he was there to do everything that Trump said he was there to do, right? So, and they're watching the video, so they could spin anything and just tell you anything, and they're just like, okay, sure, that happened.
I was told that the guy showed up to the protests not only with a firearm, but 2 magazines, hell-bent on causing as much injury and mayhem to as many people as possible. He was an American assassin, is what I've heard from the Trump administration. So you're telling me for certain that ain't true.
But when you watch the video, it tells a different story, right? So, and then they go back to Kyle Rittenhouse and stuff like that when he was walking down with rifles down the street at protests and actually, killed people like he was a hero. Yeah. It's so crazy on how they just can accept the party that says every life matters, right? The party that says our gun.
I don't know about that. Does the Republican Party say now? They do say that in regards to being pro-life with infants. But once you're an adult, I don't know if they feel that every life matters. I don't think I've ever heard them say that.
Oh yeah, because that's where the police lives matter, all lives matter. When they were doing all the,
they don't say Black lives matter.
No. They're saying it's all lives. Why are you separating it out of Black? All lives matter, right?
Yeah, they do say that.
But
that's a good point.
In the end, when they're looking at taking a human life, no matter how you look at it, no matter what the age is, when you look at that video, if you can justify that video, you need some internal soul searching there. I am so sorry. If you can look at that video, because you even look when the cops they're not cops, when the ICE agents backed away from the body and then shot him 5 more times.
Well, not only, and I talked to a lot of MAGA, not only do they justify that video, I want to play another video for you, just a real brief video here. They justify this one too.
I'll tell you this, brother. What? I will tell you this. You raise your voice, I raise your voice.
If I raise my voice, you'll erase my...
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious? You said if I raise my voice, you'll erase my voice?
He's sitting in uniform. He literally is in his ICE agent, literally wearing a uniform with the markings on it. Now, folks,
They've been emboldened. They told that they have absolute immunity. They don't have any consequences. You gave crazy people that even the police force. Now, first of all, ICE agents used to have to pass a certain kind of background and everything like that. That got waived. I forget what the term is called, but that got dropped where those requirements were not required anymore. They are hiring every Joe off the street, right? Places that our own police departments wouldn't hire, right? They're
50. They're offering 50 grand. I mean, would you sign up for 50 grand? That's a lot of money.
No. I would say, it would probably be good if a bunch of Democrats would join so they can tolerate that and pull that in.
If they find out you're a Democrat, they probably will fire you.
Isn't that what's scary though? But you know that, right?
Well, I mean, also too, like for instance, what happened to Alex Preddy. If a Democrat was around, a Democrat would probably be acting like Alex Preddy did with the lady and trying to get involved and stop the ICE agent. So they would treat you like a snitch on the force so that you wouldn't last long as a Democrat probably anyway.
Yes, and you had 5 guys jumping on one guy, not armed because he has no weapons in hand, not armed because his weapon was also removed. And they shot, you're telling me 5 guys with the guy his face was towards the sidewalk. It wasn't like he was swinging punches. They pepper sprayed him. So the guy's probably also in pain too. And and I was in the military. I know what it's like to be sprayed. You don't react right when you're sprayed.
Yeah. He sprayed him a lot too. He sprayed him more than once. He was really hammering him with that.
You're gonna be calm. You're trying to grab at your eyes. It's really hard. Now, when we got sprayed, we had to go through our obstacle courses and stuff like that. That crap is not easy whatsoever. Right?
So based on what you're saying, because you're clearly making it sound like it was an unjustified killing, why do you think MAGA overwhelmingly supports what ICE did? I mean, they will actually show you that video and make it clear. I stand with ICE, they'll tell you.
Because the first thing they did was listen to the administration, come out and listen to what the administration had to say about it, right? So they already wrote the story for them before they even saw the videos, right? And now the videos came out and then it's fake video. Then multiple video comes out and it's like, well, I still believe what Trump said. You can't change their opinion. There's no amount of money that you can even give them. You could put them right at the scene and they would not change their opinion.
So then I have to ask you, if you're suggesting that Trump has this type of power where they will actually believe Trump over what they're seeing, how does one get that kind of power? What has Trump did for them, for America, for this nation, where you're saying that they will ignore what they see in favor of what he is saying?
So I guess in all honesty, it's not really that they're ignoring what they're seeing. They don't care about what they're seeing, right? They're sticking to the story because it doesn't bother them. They don't care what happened. Right? They're going to follow that guy. Like he said himself, he can go into Fifth Avenue, shoot somebody, and his followers will stand behind him and say, go Trump, right? And I don't know if you watched that. You ever watched that? What was it? It was a bunch of superheroes, but they're bad superheroes. It was a TV show.
I'm trying. No, I don't. I would have to. You'd have to let me know the name of it. I don't think I've heard of it before.
Oh my gosh. Maybe somebody in the comments knows. So there was at one point where one guy's kind of like the Superman, but he's a bad guy, right? He does
Okay.
stupid things. The Boys. Yes, thank you.
I've never seen
And
it.
hate to, I'm going to ruin this for you, but right in front of a crowd, some guy was getting in his face and he used his vision or whatever, blew up his head or whatever. And he was like, oh no, I just did this in front of a bunch of people, right?
Okay.
And it's like, and there's news cameras on him and he overreacted because of his emotions. And if you watch the show, you'll see what happened. But then they all cheered him, and then he was like, "Yeah!" It was, and I'm like, "That's the
So
environment."
this has so that show has MAGA overtones to it. Then superheroes that
But it was before.
use their
But
power
it was
for bad.
before, which is crazy. But it was at the beginning of MAGA. But yeah, it was. But when you watch it, it literally fits the script right now.
Wow. So do you
100%.
see? Because some folks are suggesting, which is on the graphic behind me, that ICE is the bad guy. Do you see ICE, in your opinion, becoming the bad guys of law enforcement, or is it a few bad apples, but they're really just trying to protect this nation and secure the border?
No, I think that because the way they opened up, you got a lot of bad apples. Now, are they drowning out the good ones? Absolutely. Right? You're in pretty much a sea of bad apples right now, right?
Damn.
They all fell from the tree and they're just roaming our streets. But they took away all the proper screenings for ICE and all the requirements for ICE, the education that you needed to even become an ICE agent, right? Now you got an 8-week program, which is fine. That's what you need for the military and everything like that. But it's not, it's the mental capacity. Are they screening for the people who, hey, there are people who say, hey, I can't wait to watch everybody kill each other. And those people are sign up, you know? You have different mentalities around the world.
Yeah, I heard
you go on
someone
Facebook
say,
or TikTok and said, "I'm ready to watch it all burn."
yeah,
Those
I've
people
heard
are signing up.
someone suggest it was like Call of Duty with Alex Preddy. But I want to read this comment to you coming from Ronald Stewart. Says Trump is here to stay till 2028. Then JD Vance will be here, and Trump will be vice president. So I guess they're going to flip roles if that's becomes constitutional, because it's currently not. And he says, get used to it. The Democrat Party is toast. What about the indications that the Democrat Party will no longer survive the era of Trump? As if it's over with. It's going to be a conservative country from now on going forward.
No. See, the Democrats do need to get their crap together. They're to me, I feel like it's the Democrats' fault why he's in power in the first place.
How so?
Because
wait. How is it the Democrats' fault that Trump is our president? What did the Democrats do that's wrong?
They took on cultural issues too strong. They went way too far at culture. People voted based off of their religious beliefs over their belief of country, right?
I mean, look at what Trump is doing towards immigration. He's having a field day taking a cultural issue and going strong with it. He's doing very well with it. Same thing with LGBT or transgender playing in women's sports, something that doesn't really affect anybody. And he's had really good luck with it.
Because if you ever listen to what they talk about, it's men and women's sports. They never talk about women and men's sports, right?
No.
So it's the fear of everything. It's always the men in the women's dressing room, not the women in the men's dressing room, right? So when they're talking about transgender, it's always one-sided, right? So they scare the women, they scare the children, they scare the grandmothers, the fathers. So they have the right platform.
I don't know if it's just about scaring folks on Sunflower, because gay men, back when becoming gay was taboo, gay men even got hammered more than gay women. In fact, you buy an adult movie, people, they'll show you two women all the time, and men don't have a problem with that. It's gay men, just like transgender men, or men that, men that become, men have always been the ones that get hammered with it. I mean, so now you're right. They don't go at the transgender men. They only go at the transgender women, but they weren't going at the lesbians either. They were only going at the gay folks, gay men.
Yeah. But if you think about it, though, right, they say, oh, they're going to let men in your daughter's locker room, in their dressing rooms, men in your daughter's this, and your daughter's this, and your grandmother's this, right? So it was all based off of fear, right? We just had a guy arrested in our state, in our county, actually, for going into a women's dressing room and taking pictures of an underage girl in the dressing room. He was not dressed up as a woman. He was dressed as a man. He just went in. He's a human being. You didn't need to be dressed as a woman to go in there.
Yeah, I mean, Trump.
But-
I mean, there's rumors that Trump went into a beauty pageant that he owned, and it was a bunch of 15-year-olds.
Well, it's not
in
rumors.
there.
That was his actual words. He said he did it on the Howard Stern show. So that's not a rumor.
Okay.
That's his words out of his mouth.
Wow. So, before I'm moving on from you, can ICE survive the stigmatism that they are the bad guys, which is what we're talking about here? Once you get let's say a liberal in there, or even a more moderate conservative, can the agency known as ICE survive? It's almost like a bar or a club that has a name, and the bar always has a lot of fights. Once they get the bar to be a more peaceful place to go drink, they usually change the name because the old name is associated with violence. I'm asking, can ICE, the name itself, survive what is going on?
It can. I mean, what's going to happen is once the American people are aware that, hey, we're not sending ICE to storm our streets anymore. We're not hiring people who are not qualified for the positions anymore. We're setting policies and following laws. We're not making them up as we go. I think, but you have to show the people that, right?
That's going to take a long time to get all that trust back.
But the way, when they're defying even court orders, right? They're saying that the courts said you can't use gas or any kind of stuff like that on the American people. And then Kristi Noem goes on and goes, oh yeah, we're following, but we got to do what we got to do. Like she said one thing and backtracked on the next, They
got nothing but love for Kristi Noem, if you ask MAGA. I got to move it on, Sunflower, but Kristi Noem. By the way, some folks feel that Kristi Noem may be the next to go behind Bovino. They believe she may be the next to go, but we'll see. Sunflower, thanks for coming through.
Take care. Thanks for having me up.
Anytime. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get us on up to 30,000. A lot of you folks have been doing that. Thank you very much. ICE have a few weeks of training. We know that they reduced the requirement in terms of amount of time because they wanted to get a bunch of more agents. By the way, thank you, DJ Julio and Mike the Balls. Appreciate that. And Mike the Boss, thank you. Now, with the reduction in training, they needed a lot of agents. By way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks, and they have 47 weeks, obvious play on the numbers, just like the F-47 aircraft that's coming out. DJ Julio, thank you. How many of you folks, by way of yes or no in the comments, would at least give it some consideration in terms of signing up to be an ICE agent for $50,000 a year, plus an ample amount of immunity? How many of you folks would at least consider that? 50 grand plus an ample amount of presidential immunity, indicating you really can't do much wrong anyway. They got your fucking back. 50 grand. It's a lot of money. In the comments, I see right off the bat, I can't pronounce the word. 3339 said I would. Pick a Flare says fuck that, and so does Gerard Bullock. And Me Too says hell no. 50 grand, I don't know. 50 grand is a lot of money. You're obviously going to maybe upset a few families here and there, maybe take a few dads and moms out to home, but you're talking 50 grand. Double Luck says not a lot of money. That's some folks' entire annual pay. It is a lot of money to get it once. That's some folks' entire annual pay. And I see MAGA reacts. Good evening, MAGA. Says $50,000 bonus plus your salary. Let's go. MAGA reacts is ready. I can work for ICE for free. Damn. Says 8059. You'd work for free? Really? I think that's probably because so far the people have not stood up. Let me ask you guys this before I go to the box again. ICE has seemed to have had a lot of luck in Minneapolis. We talk about the Second Amendment prevents tyranny from taking place in this great nation. They've had no problem imposing their will on the people of Minnesota. I want to ask you, in terms of the Second Amendment and citizens fighting against tyranny, refusing to let any government agency just run over them, I want you folks to name a city you believe that if ICE went to, doing the same thing they're doing in Minneapolis, they would probably lose a few agents. What city would probably be a bad idea for ICE to go to, living like LA? Chicago? No. Did they just use a Black Hawk to attack a building in Chicago? I don't know. I think they were able to do a little bit of damage in Chicago. Memphis, Compton. Compton is a little small. By the way, Compton is a small portion of Los Angeles. I mean, you sent 3,000 agents. The police force of Compton is probably less than 50 guys. Compton ain't that big. You've been listening to too many NWA records. And somebody in the comments on YouTube also said Compton. Compton, look, turn off the hip hop albums. Compton buys. It ain't enough people in Compton to stop 3,000 agents. East St. Louis, wow. Anyway, let me go ahead and continue on with the show. Do you see ICE as a bad arm of law enforcement? As you see on the monitor behind me, the bad guys. Do you see ICE as becoming our bad arm of law enforcement, going straight to the box? DJ Julio, it's been a minute. Would you 50 grand, DJ Julio? Would you join ICE for 50?
You know, if I had a problem with ICE, I would definitely join it to try to create good standing within the system. Yeah,
that ain't gonna work. I mean, they'll get rid of you before they let you change the system.
Maybe not. So you got such little hope. I mean, when we was talking about shit a year ago, you told me then you got too much hope. You can't change people that way. Well, I disagree. I think you lead by example.
You think one person could join ICE and change the way they're operating?
Jesus did.
and they strung his ass up on the cross. He had to come back alive because they killed his ass 3 days later. That didn't work out very well.
It worked out good for all of us. We're free from sin because of it.
I don't know. Jesus didn't fare too well. Last time I saw a dude, he had a fucking barbed wire fence around his head.
As you can tell, anybody that tries to bring everybody together, it doesn't work out well for them. They took out a president's ear. They took out a free speaker who allowed all people to talk and discuss things that were controversial between. I mean, listen, there's always going to be bad actors in every situation that we're in. You know, I don't think that myself personally. I'd be a raving lunatic if I thought I could change the world myself.
What do you? Okay, so in regards to you saying you would join ICE if you thought you could change them, what do you think of their performance? Do you think that they're doing a good job in securing the border? I mean, do you believe that they're doing 99? Go ahead.
99% of them, I think, are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and I think they're doing a decent job of getting the people they're looking for. I don't agree, and I will not stand behind people dying. And I won't say that. I won't go as far as to say that those people acted in bad faith. I think it's a tragic situation.
From what you've seen, does it look possibly justified? We'll go with the last one, Alex Preddy. From what you've seen, do you see an angle where that was possibly justified?
Well, let's look at this from the purview of you walk into any demonstration, any protest, and let's say ICE isn't even involved. Mm-hmm. Let's say it's your local municipality and it's the local police department, and they've got an area of the road they're trying to get through it, and you approach them and engage with them, and you have a.
How did he engage with them? How? Explain that. Because I saw him tend to a woman that got shoved. How did he engage with them?
Okay, did you see the minutes before that, the 3 minutes before that, where he was arguing and yelling in their faces and getting, kind of physical with them? Because if you didn't, you need to watch that.
I did see him arguing with them, but they were walking him back. He was arguing with them, and they were walking up on him, and he was backtracking. So he was in full retreat.
Right. And at some point, even in law enforcement, just regular old law enforcement, the cops on the beat, just because you walk back doesn't mean you're not going to get detained and removed from the situation. Doesn't mean you're going to jail, but you might get detained and removed from the situation. Now, if they try to detain you and they fight back, again, I want to reiterate and I want to emphasize, bigger than shit, I was sick to my stomach to watch that video. anytime something like that happens, it gets me sick in my stomach. I don't like to see that. I don't want that for anybody.
Now remember, the question was, do you see a possible? Hang on. Remember, the question was, do you see a possible angle for justification, though?
I do.
Okay, explain. Explain.
And because he had a weapon on him, because he was fighting with 6 different officers. Now, if this dude went to the ground, put his hands behind his back, and says, "I give up. I give up," he's done. It's done.
I don't see where I see this event happening.
He tried to reach back. He tried to reach back several different times in the video, and you've got to be. You got to be transparent about this. I don't like the fact that he's not here anymore. I think that's freaking horrible. Horrible for his family, horrible for his friends.
Yeah, but Julio, wait, Julio, you're saying, I gotta admit, I didn't see a lot of things you're saying, such as him fighting with 6 guys. I saw him tend to that woman, and within seconds, they were all over him, beating him about the head, and he was on the ground in a fetal position. I didn't see him throw a lick. I didn't see him throw a shove. I didn't see anything. You're talking about he was fighting with them. I didn't see that.
But he was, and he was absolutely holding on to that girl, dragging her around by the front of that car. If he was trying to help her up, he would have let her go.
So there are some officers. There are so many officers. Go ahead.
Instead, he drug her around with him. You know, and police are seeing what he's doing to her as well, which becomes it's an agitation. It's 100% an agitation.
Okay. Well, you do realize agitation is not a crime, though. Nobody's ever been charged with agitation.
I didn't say it was.
Okay.
I didn't say it was. But when you're agitating and then you have a weapon on you, there is a likelihood, a very strong likelihood, that even in your local police force, you might catch one.
Okay, what I'm confused about is, if I show up with a weapon that's in my pocket, I never pull it out, I never announce it. Why is the weapon coming up? I mean, he never pulled it out, he never brandished it, he never even reached back where it's at. Why is that coming up so much?
2 seconds. I think it was 2 seconds, maybe 2-point-something seconds before that guy grabbed it out of his back of his waist. He's reaching back for it.
So you do see a clip where he
look at all of the damn videos. Look, and I tell everybody this. Listen, again, let's reiterate. I am not okay with him not being here right now. I'm not okay with him catching those. I'm not okay with that. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, I'm a smart enough man that if I go to a riot, if I go to a protest, if I go to any of that, even if I am armed, I'm armed. My hands are up. I'm armed.
But Julio, I'm not disagreeing with you. The point I'm making is, he was never given time to do that. They swarmed him, and they didn't ask him to surrender or put his head. They began attacking him and beating him. What am I missing?
It's wrong. The 3 minutes before, when he was agitating and in their faces, and they did get him up against the building. At one point, they had him up against the building. You can see it clearly. He's got his freaking phone up there. That was 3 minutes worth of altercation with one person.
Okay.
Now in anything, take ICE out of the picture. Take deportation out of the picture. If that was just a regular old Sunday afternoon protest, and he was agitating and getting in their faces and screaming and yelling and being disruptive, there's nothing wrong with that. But he's going to get removed from the scene. They're going to take him and they're going to remove him from that, whether he is detained and moved down the street. He can walk his ass back, whatever. They're going to remove him from the scene. Now, if he was armed, he should have said so. Right? He was armed, he should have said so.
I guess where I'm confused at is, this happens, the stuff you're talking about.
Hold on a second. Michael, shut the fuck up.
He's next.
It's your turn and come and tell me how wrong. Tell me how wrong I am when you come up next, motherfucker. I don't need to hear you tell me I'm wrong from what I've seen in 17 different freaking videos. I looked at 17 of them because I'm tired of being wrong. I've been on here and I've been wrong a lot of times. I'm not going to lie. Let me
ask you, would you saying that there's a possible case for a justifiable shoot? Do you believe any of those officers have faced any type of discipline at all?
That's tricky. Yes and no.
Explain.
Yes, because I don't think he deserved 9. I don't think he deserved all 9. I don't think he deserved any more than the first 2. And I have a hard time saying he deserved those. But in the situation, if I'm looking at it through the eyes of the officers that are trying to get home to their families, that's the only logical outcome I can come to.
So
Is that
you
if I'm gonna go
do
home
see
to my family tonight. If I'm going to go home to my family tonight, and this guy has a weapon, and he's already being aggressive, and there's 6 of us trying to detain him, this is an active threat now.
You do
Because
see
it's
this.
an
Wait, hold
active
on. You do see Alex Preddy as a potential lethal threat to the officers, leading them to have to use lethality against him. You see him as a lethal threat.
Once the weapon is noticed, yes.
But you also said you saw him.
Tim, if I walk around with a pistol in my pocket and I'm going to a protest, I'm a threat.
So Kyle Rittenhouse was a threat. Wait. So you're saying Kyle Rittenhouse was a lethal threat?
Absolutely. But did you see what he did?
You said if
hands up in the air, hands up in the air. He walked right to the cops, hands in the air. That's what you do.
No, but according to you, just having a pistol at a protest, and by the way, this is the same. The Trump administration is saying the same thing.
No, you're twisting shit.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
According,
Kyle did not fight with law enforcement.
You're not hearing what I'm saying. According to you, you're still not hearing what I'm saying. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You're just saying it's wrong. I didn't say anything. You're just saying
I know what you're gonna say.
Okay,
let me say what you're gonna say.
Okay, well, let me say it, and then you can tell me how it's twisted. According to the Trump administration and yourself, merely bringing a firearm to a protest is wrong. Not all of this put your hands up in the air stuff. Just Trump didn't say nothing about as long as you put your hands up in the air. He said merely bringing it is wrong. Tell me what's being twisted.
Yeah. Yes, I do agree. Yes, it is wrong. Doesn't mean it's illegal. It doesn't mean it's illegal. Does not mean it's illegal.
You did all of that to So it's wrong though. So Kyle Rittenhouse was wrong.
He was wrong for doing it.
Okay, that's all.
Am I proud of him for the way that he handled himself? I can't be anything but that. He's still here.
What about the protest?
He handled it correctly. He put his hands up, went right to the police.
What about the protesters that showed up to the Michigan courthouse, surrounded it, and they all? What about them?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I was just trying to see.
I'll put it on the screen behind me. These guys here on the screen, if you can see the screen behind me. During the COVID mask mandates, they didn't like what Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan was doing. They showed up to the Michigan State House like this, all carrying long rifles, wearing masks and balaclavas. That was their protest. What say you?
They didn't cause no problems. They weren't fighting with law enforcement, Tim.
You're blocking the exit. A dude with a rifle is blocking the exit with a mask on.
I know you wouldn't catch me doing that, but I mean,
is it wrong?
Cause no problem. There ain't no problem.
So this is okay.
Second Amendment lives. Listen, dude had a right to have that with him. 100%. Dude had a right to have that with him. Problem is when he got when the detainment started, that's when he should have put his hands up and said, "I'm armed. I don't want to fight with you. Hands behind my back. Get me out of here. I want to see my family tomorrow."
You do realize there were armed participants on January 6th that did not announce they were armed, right? And they did get into a scuffle with law enforcement. And Trump pardoned them. Trump called them patriots and pardoned them.
It's tricky. You asked how I felt about it. I felt like this guy should be here today, and I feel like if he would have handled himself appropriately, made it known that he would listen. You're taking somebody down in your house. Let's just go like this. You're taking somebody down in your house, Tim, right now.
Okay.
Someone breaks into your house or is in your house causing trouble.
Okay.
You start to hold them and detain them. You notice they have a weapon, and then you feel them reaching back. Are you going to wait to see if they get hands on that, or are you just going to handle the situation?
I mean, you raise a good point. I'll make it clear. If there is genuine evidence, as you suggest, that Alex Preddy was indeed trying to get his weapon, it's justifiable all day long. But I got to admit, DJ Julio, I've talked to a lot of MAGA. You're the first I've heard suggest he was trying to reach for his gun. I've not heard even MAGA suggest that.
From the videos I watched, it looks like he brings his hand back to his waistband.
Yeah.
And listen, let me be clear. I wish that didn't happen. I don't want that to happen in American streets. I don't want us fighting that kind of war with our law enforcement. I don't want that shit.
You voted for Trump, right?
I want law and order.
Yeah, but
damn right I did.
But
I want a
okay,
safe border.
you
Damn right I did.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with who you voted for. But what I don't get is because there's legitimate reasons to vote for Trump. I still believe that. But the idea that you got a lot of Trump supporters saying we need to not have fighting and we need to have unity. He wasn't promising that, Julio. He made it clear, I'm the president for retribution. I'm going to go after the liberals. He made it absolutely clear when I get in there, we're going to be fighting with each other. So why do you expect unity now? He's doing what he promised. Promises made, promises kept.
Well, and it's silly because he knew that the left wouldn't allow him. He knew that they'd be fighting in the streets. He knew they'd be burning down cities. That's what the left does.
Okay,
listen,
so
y'all took out. No, listen. Y'all took out Charlie Kirk.
Y'all, who the hell is? And Dennis Calhoun says alternative reality. What do you mean, y'all? Y'all, who is designate who is y'all when it comes to Charlie Kirk?
The left.
You believe that the individual that took out Charlie Kirk was a card-carrying Democrat, huh?
I believe so.
At 22.
I believe so.
What is that? What is that based on?
Just what they showed about who he was, what he talked about, who he hung with.
And his family being MAGA, law enforcement, Christians, all of that we're going to skip over.
Crazy, right? Crazy, right? Because I'm a Republican, but you and most of your people who have heard me on here before know my entire family is Democrat. How strange is it? Yeah, that I'm a father who's a Republican and my kids are Democrats. Weird, right?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a Republican, Julio. Now, the issue is MAGA. Just like there's issues with the far left. MAGA represents MAGA represents the far right. Just like there is, you could be Obama or better, you can be Biden or you can be AOC and Bernie Sanders or Mamdani. There's a far left. MAGA is far right. They're not like George Bush or Mitt Romney. So that's where the problem is that MAGA is too far to the right, just like some of the folks on the left were too far to the left.
I get what you're saying.
So there's your issue.
What I'm saying is, let me just say it this way then, okay? Let's say that maybe this guy is a Republican. Maybe he was the one that took out Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the bad part, and that's not the part that was the beginning of what I was trying to say. Where I was getting at with that is, as soon as it happened, the left cheered.
Okay.
The left celebrated a man who would go to campuses and talk with people who disagreed with him to try to let perspective be what it is, and that's just perspective.
I don't get the outrage after what Trump did about everybody from Bob Reiner or whatever that was stabbed to death by his kids, Nancy Pelosi's husband. Now Ilhan Omar gets sprayed and he says pretty much fuck her too. At this point, you don't have any credibility on anybody laughing or making fun of anybody on the right dying. You guys have done it to the left as well. At the presidential level.
Yeah. Hey, love, that's how it should be. That's exactly what it should be. You should be praying. People should be praying and giving a shit. So I commend you for that. I don't have a problem with the left. Like I said, listen to me when I say this. Listen to me when I say this. I didn't say anything about not having a problem with the far left.
Okay.
I have problem with extremists on my side. I'm not that guy. I'm not the one that's going to be out there with.
Give me an example of an extremist on your side.
I'm not even going to go there right now because we're extending our conversation.
You can't give me one extremist on your side.
I want to have a conversation with you. I want to have this conversation with you. I think this is important. I think these perspectives and all these. Listen, I don't agree with the way that things are being handled right now in Minnesota.
Okay.
I don't. I do not.
Do you favor him?
I'm actually stop for just a second. Let me just say this real quick. Let me just say this so that everybody that's already doxing me and knows what my real name is and is putting my full Facebook name here on TikTok. I appreciate you for that. I ain't afraid of it. Go ahead. My name is Ryan Julio Horan. Horan. Okay.
Oh shit.
That's who the fuck I am.
Okay. All right.
I don't give a shit. You put a bullet in me, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
Nobody's
I
talking
really
about
don't.
political violence outside of the White House. You're good here. We're not talking about that.
It's in your chats. It's in your chats. 100%. It's in your chats. Scroll back.
Sorry to hear that.
Scroll back.
We'll go ahead and move on. I'll leave it at this. And certainly, you're always a friend on this program. You're always welcome here.
And I'm not afraid of the conversation, Tim. I don't think we need to run from it. What I want to get at is I have problems with extremes on both sides. Okay, I'm a left.
You sure? Because I asked you to name an extremist on your side, and I asked you if ICE. You said 99% of what ICE is doing is correct. I don't know if what you're saying matches what you're telling me, Julio.
How many people have we deported through ICE in this in this thing? How many people?
If you got to go by Trump's numbers, I don't know if I agree with that. Trump tells you whatever Trump gives you, I would say divided by probably at least 3.
Okay, so what did Trump say? I don't
even know. I don't even know what he's giving.
So we'll say it's 200,000. Okay, we'll just say it's 200,000.
It's more than that. But go ahead. Yeah. Okay.
So someone just said Willie G just said 2 million. Thank you, Willie. So if 2 million people have been deported and 6 people have been injured, that's 99%.
Yeah, but that's an insane comparison because a lot of folks being deported to countries they've never came from. Folks are being, a lot of Americans are being grabbed up and having their civil rights. There's a lot more people been injured than we even care to realize. Thousands of folks because of what ICE is doing. They're grabbing folks just because they have an accident. Citizens are having to carry their passports outside. They're injuring. I mean, whole schools are shutting down. It's a lot more than that.
What's 1% of 2 million?
Take off a zero. What is that? 200,000? Is that right? No, 20,000. 20,000.
Okay, so when we get to the number of injured to 20,000, we're still at 99% in the good.
I think it's way. I actually, when you're talking about whole hospitals and schools and shit being shut down in one town, my guess is that number is way higher than 20,000. DJ Julio, people are afraid in Minnesota. In Minnesota, American citizens are afraid to go outside. I actually think it's more. Think about all the business and commerce that is not transacting because all these places are shutting down. It's bigger than that, and it's also greater than Minnesota as well.
Why aren't we having these same problems in Chicago? Why aren't we having these same problems in LA? Well, the problem is here's my theory on this.
I'm gonna have to move it on. Go ahead. I'll give you the last word.
We talk about $9 billion of fraud in Minnesota, and then all of a sudden we have these riots. 2 days later.
Okay.
This shit is connected. That's why Walz has got an indictment on him. That's why the mayor of both cities, St. Paul and Minnesota, have indictments. That's why the judge or prosecutor has an indictment. There is things going on in Minnesota that the left or the Democrats are not letting us talk about. We're too busy talking about people who are going into these places. God rest her soul, Renee Good. Don't block a damn street like Rapid City. When we have. I
gotta move it on. I'm gonna have to get you to land the plane because I'm over time with you. But real quick, make your point.
Okay. Well, let's just do this. If I come back up again in the next couple of days, don't call me up. We'll call this that time.
That's not how it works. People are on hold, Julio. I gotta go. I'll bring you up next time. That's not how it works. By the way, folks, tap the screen, get the lights up to 50. DJ Julio is a friend of the program. He's always welcome back. It's just we do have a time schedule. Real quick in regards to addressing some of the things he said. Why is the problem in Minnesota not existing in Chicago and LA and these other places? I'll tell you my analysis. It does exist in those areas. When ICE was in Chicago, there were protests, there were problems. The fact is, they didn't send anywhere near as many ICE agents to Los Angeles, Chicago, Portland, or these other cities. As P. Diddy might say, more agents, more problems. So if you send 200 agents and there's a few protests here or there, if you send 2,000, there's probably going to be 10 times as many protests and issues. The fact is, he sent a significantly higher amount of agents to Minnesota than he did anywhere else. So the agents are everywhere. The protests are everywhere. And the agents, because they got significant numbers, feel a little bit more emboldened to do what they're going to do. I mean, if you only sent 50 agents into a city, Alex Preddy would still be alive. If they didn't have a cat in Minnesota, they know they pretty much are like God there under Bovino. So chances are they wouldn't engage as much if they didn't have those numbers like that. They didn't have that type of immunity and backup like that. So I think there would be just as many problems in Chicago or any other U.S. city if you sent enough agents to equate to 5 times the Metro Police Force. Minnesota has a police force that is 600 strong. Trump sent 3,000 agents there. Last I heard, Chicago was around 2,000 or so officers there. So if you send 5,000 or 6,000 ICE agents there, there's going to be problems. Because the Chicago police can't do shit. There's going to be problems. It would be, if you sent that many agents to Chicago, and he didn't even send a fraction of that to Chicago, the amount of agents is what caused Minnesota to have more problems than other places. Real quick in the comments, tap the screen. By the way, help your boy out with the hat and mustache goal. Get us on up to 50,000. 50. In the comments real quick, Josh Vett says Trump made them have to turn on Rittenhouse. Yeah, to make a point, because Trump made it sound like simply showing up to a protest with a gun is wrong. And you're right, Josh. The right has been supporting folks showing up with guns to protest for a few years now. But to make it somewhat sound right, well, yeah, but you can't be arguing or you can't be agitating. No, Trump didn't say any of that. He just said simply showing up to a protest with a firearm is wrong. He didn't say nothing about fighting with officers or arguing with officers or you have to let them know you got a gun. None of that. He just said simply showing up to a protest with a firearm is wrong. That means Kyle Rittenhouse is involved in that, the mask mandate guys in Michigan, and a host of other folks. We're wrong on the right, but they celebrated those folks. So you're right. Trump did make the right, who has been celebrating bringing firearms to protests, look bad. Not to mention all of the patriots, the Love Fest participants on January 6th. Some of them were armed. Some of them had firearms. He pardoned those folks. And by the way, they were just as combative with law enforcement on January 6th. In fact, significantly more than anything Alex Preddy did. They were literally beating the cops with flags and bear spraying them and stuff. Somehow they walked away as patriots. Go figure. Anyway, tap the screen, get us up to 50,000. We'll take the next caller. In the comments, Arthur says, wow, you still like this channel. This dude is so out of touch with what's going on. Arthur, that's why you're here, Arthur. You know, we don't mind your politics. We are MAGA friendly. Liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone on this program. You can criticize anyone, including yours truly, which is what Arthur is doing. Thank you for your input, Arthur. Real quick in the comments, so what about the people that showed up with firearms on January 6th? They were patriots, according to Trump there. Thank you for the good galaxy. Don't know who just sent that, but I certainly would like to acknowledge you. I can't pronounce your name. I'll just go with Hugo. Thank you for your support. Going straight to the box is ICE. Immigration officials, are they becoming the new bad guys? I do want to go back to the box. Mike, the boss. Don't know where you went, but we'll continue on. Don't know what happened to the guy. Tamar, good evening. Welcome to the program, New Jersey's best. ICE, the bad guys. Now, my last caller, Tamar, said that 99% of ICE's performance, 99% of ICE officers are doing a good job. What say you?
Negative. It might be like 70%, maybe. And that's a hard push.
What about his his notion, and I listen, I talked to MAGA just like I talked to plenty liberals, and he was the first individual I've ever heard suggest that Alex Preddy was reaching for his weapon. Did you see anything like that?
No, they all that stuff that MAGA Reacts was saying about him standing in the street and all that stuff before the actual confrontation happened. I did see that. I did see that video where the car was riding past and he was standing in the middle of the street.
Yeah, MAGA React showed me the video of that yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it, but I had saw it before that. But the thing, my whole thing is they walked when the actual confrontation happened after they pushed the woman. They walked up to him and sprayed him in the face instantly.
Yeah,
and from there they grabbed him up.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. That, but I think MAGA React said it yesterday. But my last caller, DJ Julio, both indicated that he was fighting with officers and all of that. And that's what I said is that the time after he tried to touch that woman to the time they had him on the ground was mere seconds. They had him subdued instantly. I don't see where the fight was in him.
And he was, please, they was hitting him with the gun. They was beating him.
Yeah.
And, like he had no chance to grab no gun.
I would. Yeah, he was down on the ground, damn near face down. Even if he had to grab the gun, they would have just broke his fucking arm off. I didn't see it, but he is saying the guy looked like he was reaching for a gun.
Yeah, they grabbed the gun from him.
Yeah.
And then they recklessly fired into a crowd of officers. Like they was all around when they started shooting. That could have went ugly in so many different ways, and a lot of people could have lost their lives the way they fired that gun, the way they pew-pewed. I'm sorry.
But then I have to ask, why do you believe personally? Because there's a lot of MAGA that sees this as justified. You heard Julio say it. I've had a few other guests that I think MAGA Reacts is even saying it's kind of possible. A lot of folk, and I think Straight Talk Commerce, a lot of my viewers believe that what happened there by ICE was, for the most part, justifiable. Why do you think that is?
You know why? Because they believe that he's a liberal. I look at it. I look at the comments on different memes and on Facebook, and all the people, liberal this, Democrat that, this and that. Like if they didn't believe, I'm like, how do you even know what he was?
Wait. Are you indicating that just being a liberal alone makes MAGA view your death as somewhat okay?
Absolutely. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
That's a bit harsh.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, listen to the comments they're saying. Listen, you just named all those people. All the people you named are MAGA, right?
Yeah.
And they all justify. They all basically say they justify it. Now
they're saying that Alex Preddy was a bad guy, and had he either stayed his ass home or not tried to wrestle and tussle with cops, he would still be alive. So they are blaming him, suggesting his actions are what caused his own death.
I mean, look, was it a good idea to go to a protest with a weapon? Probably not, but it's your right to do it, and it's your right to protest. Correct? That's the First and the Second Amendment. That's what they're saying in any other confrontation. They would say that, it's all right. It's all right. So what's the difference?
Yeah, in my opinion, it should. Yeah, in my opinion, it should be against the law to bring a gun to a protest, but the right would not agree with that. I think you would get probably many folks on the left to agree with it, but you probably would have a hard time getting the right to agree with it unless Trump presented it as a law.
I mean, honestly, I think, remember, I've been saying, I said Trump is doing this to cause mayhem. I think he's like looking at this like and I don't know if I'm going to say it right, but it's almost like he's trying to do the government like a political, like, you know how they do a hostile takeover in a business? It's almost like he's trying to do a hostile takeover with the government, because he said that he told them people in Minnesota that if they wanted to
he wanted access to their voter rolls. Why he wanted access to their voter rolls. Yeah. That, and oddly enough, you're not hearing that on Fox, OAN, or Newsmax. The idea that the Trump administration told them, if you give us access to your voter rolls, we will withdraw ICE. meaning this has nothing to do with Somali fraud, nothing to do with illegal immigrants. I don't understand why that's not getting more attention. I gotta ask my MAGA viewers when I bring them up from now on. I had totally forgot that, but that is about as corrupt as you can get.
And then you say the raid in Atlanta. I'm trying to tell you, they're trying to do a hostile. It's almost like they're trying to do a hostile takeover of the but for the government. However you see that, how it looks, that's how it's going to be.
Well, let's be clear. Well, let's be clear, Tamar. We stated when we elected Trump, when we voted for Trump, we wanted a leader to run this country like a business. Hostile takeovers do happen in the corporate world.
Yeah. Bro. And that's what it almost looks like that's what he's trying to do. It looks like he's trying to literally take over the government. Now you can't get rid of like governors, but you can make sure that and then the guy Julio, he basically said like it's over for Democrats.
That wasn't. No, that was a viewer in the comment. It was a viewer in the comments said that. But there are several folks who do believe that Trump is doing so well it is over for the Democrat Party. He's not. They're not the first. I've heard people say that quite a while. I mean, because listen, Trump is winning. There's no denying Trump is getting what he wants. I don't care if it's even somewhat on the edge of the law. What Trump wants, Trump is getting.
Well, I'll tell you what, this last shooting is not looking good for them. They're having a whole bunch of conflicts. You heard with Stephen Miller, he said one thing and then he goes and tries to blame it on DOS or whatever they're called. Like basically they gave him, he just repeated whatever information they gave him. So they're starting to stab each other in the backs and stuff, trying to now they're talking about Christine Nolan and her little the person she's having an affair, supposedly having an affair with. They're talking about their next.
Who? Christy Nome is caught having an affair. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, there's a rumor that she's having an affair with the guy that she's always with. Whatever his name is. I'm not even going to try.
Well, listen, that could just be the liberals because they were saying Charlie Kirk's wife was trying to get with J.D. Vance. The liberal, so that could just be some liberal talk. I don't know about that one or not. So I'll leave that one alone.
Whoever the person is that she's traveling with, that she bought when she bought the 2 planes or whatever, that his name.
I mean, listen, anything is possible, but I am saying when it comes to Erica Kirk and J.D. Vance, the liberals sometimes because J.D. Vance's wife is pregnant with their 4th child, so he's obviously still banging that. So I mean, the idea that he's trying to get with Erica Kirk seems like just something the liberals were making up.
Yeah, possibly. It was a couple of things that I had on my mind, Tim, that I didn't realize I was driving. I didn't realize you was gonna.
You were holding. I've missed you on a couple of the shows, so I certainly wanted to come to you. But I also did you hear that Ilhan Omar got sprayed?
Yeah, and what does he go? And what does he do? He goes and divides. They call Obama the divider in chief, right? But and like once again on Facebook, you see all these crazy people calling Obama the divider in chief and blah blah blah, and Big Mike is for Michelle, all that disrespectful stuff. But they can't. But I'm asking the people. I'm like, how is he dividing? And what do you call what Trump is doing? If you call Obama the divider in chief, then what the hell do you call what Trump does?
I think the difference, go ahead.
Instead of him talking about Elon, the reason why that happened to her is because of all the stuff he does. So instead of him diffusing the situation or saying something like it's tragic, it shouldn't have happened. I'm glad she wasn't hurt. We have our differences, but that would have been something presidential to say. No, he goes and says that she staged it. Yeah. And like I said, they're like toddlers. They go and repeat everything their fucking Big Daddy Cheeto Dust says. They go and repeat it.
I'm assuming you don't. I'm assuming you don't like Trump, but listen, I mean,
I don't know.
Has he done anything good for the country at all, in your opinion?
I believe in his first term he was doing better, and I think I think like he wasn't as bad as people made him out to be in his first term until COVID happened. And then in this term, I believe it's the revenge tour. But I think what he's also trying to do is he's going to try to say something about how because he got robbed in 2020, that's the reason for him to keep on going, for him to go for a third term, because the election was stolen. Anything is possible with this guy. And this is all me thinking. This is so
right.
If anybody,
Well, in regards to you saying he's on a revenge tour and saying that Obama was the divider in chief, I think Trump gets the benefit of the doubt for one simple reason. Obama ran on a campaign of hope. Trump ran on a campaign of retribution. So people are going to not criticize Trump as much as they would criticize Obama for being divisive, is because Trump didn't promise to be unifying. Obama did. So if Obama promised to unify us, saying we have hope, and you hear Sarah Palin say, how is that hopey changing thing working? If he fails, he didn't deliver on his campaign promise. Asking why we're not getting unity under Trump, the simple response is, I didn't promise to be unifying. I promised to be your president of retribution. So it doesn't really make sense to question why Trump is not saying unifying statements or why he's not being empathetic or sympathetic. He didn't promise to be that way. He promised to do exactly what he is doing. Promises made, promises kept.
Yeah, you're right. But what are these people so angry about? Like, that was one thing I had to say. I'm 47 years old, right? I've turned 48 in April.
Okay.
Since I can remember, when has America never been the greatest? Answer that. But when they keep on saying "Make America Great," like when the heck is America? When has a country ever been better than us? Since I've been living, you're a little older than me.
Well, he's not saying make America great in comparison to other countries. He's saying that fundamentally in America, we've, families are not, everything from not, having faith in God, or could be, paying more attention to gadgets than your own family members. He's talking about the traditional foundation of America has been lost. You don't know what a woman is, for instance, that kind of stuff.
And that's another thing. I blame, like the lady said before, I blame a lot of this nightmare on Joe Biden's administration. I do. He did let immigration get out of control. He, like the lady said, the Democrats took on too many. What did she say? She said
too many social issues.
Yes, 100%. I agreed with her 100%. I was washing dishes, so I couldn't really say anything when she said it, but I agreed 100% with what she said. Like, they took on too many social issues. Like, why do we need Trump to tell us that men shouldn't be in women's sports? Even if it was one or two people or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, why fight tooth and nail for that? Like the governor of Massachusetts or whatever, when he asked her was she abiding by it, and she goes, no, I'm not. And then he's like, oh, you're gonna be hearing from my lawyers or some shit like that. Like, he basically was threatening her, and like that's what you choose to fight, to take on the fight when you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I would hate to. So in other words, in the next election, the next national election, the Democrats cannot stand they can't stand up for the transgender at all, which it sounds like is what you're saying.
I'm not even saying to cut them off, but I'm just saying you put it too much as a top priority. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. I'm not saying they shouldn't have rights and they shouldn't be able to do this and that. I'm not trying to say that, because I have a transgender family member, So I'm not trying to say they shouldn't have rights. I'm just saying that it shouldn't have been the top of the line, because it should have been more about rights, about rights for people.
Yeah, I've said already that I believe the next Democrat candidate needs to be a straight white Christian male. You got to check off a few boxes.
I agree.
Yeah, you got to.
And I told you I like Tim Walz. I still like him, even though he's dealing with some of this. Well,
at this point, Tamar, he's bowed out too quick. I mean, he should have, just like some say Marjorie Taylor Greene should not have bowed out. Once you bow out, you don't come across as a strong leader. I mean, Tim Walz, He should not have bowed out. He didn't do anything in terms of saving his city from Trump anyway. So he should have just stayed in the fight.
Well, now I guess the only hope now is that guy, was it Andy Beshear, whatever, the governor in Kentucky.
Yeah,
I'm going to start doing a little research on him because he seems like he might be the only hope.
But isn't he?
Really like Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, well, Gavin Newsom, they're gonna bring up California with Gavin Newsom. I kind of like Senator Mark Kelly for the left. I mean, he checks off a lot of boxes. He is everything I mentioned: straight white Christian male. He's got military background. He's a fucking astronaut. I think Senator Mark Kelly would check off a bunch of boxes. But
and they probably talk about his wife because she got shot. She got shot in the head, and what kind of first lady is she? She can't even complete a sentence.
What do you think MAGA's going to do? Put up posters of Gabby Gifford like Biggie Smalls said, "Who shot you?"
Yeah, they're cruel people. They do a lot of cruel stuff. You should see some of these comments they're saying about this Alex Pretty guy. And like, fine, you want to argue? I could kind of get
Renee Nicole Good. Renee, yeah.
Yeah, I could kind of get it. I don't think it was a justified shooting, but this one, in my opinion, was a straight execution on a U.S. city street.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I can see a justifiable case made in regards to Renee Nicole Good as well, and I don't think her life had to be taken to save anybody's life either. But I can see them making a justified case. If you can justify Alex Pretty's death, in my opinion, you can justify them killing anybody. I mean, it don't take much. You can justify them really taking anybody's life.
You know, the bullet, the third one was the one that unalived her, and that went through
the side window. Right. So in other words, he shot her from the side, and he was out of the path of the car.
Yes, the third one was the one that actually unalived her, and that was the one I went from left to right from the autopsy report. That came
to me, Renee Nicole Good was more in tune with breaking the law than Alex Pretty. To me, Alex Pretty was arguing with police. That's not against the law. People are bringing up that he was an agitator. That is not against the law. Whereas Renee Nicole Good was trying to drive off. She's blocking traffic. She was doing some things that are wrong. I'm not sure I saw Alex Pretty committing any crimes whatsoever. And they're trying to say somehow, I guess he deserved to lose his life. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, they're crazy. It's unbelievable what these people talk. That guy straight talk. Oh my God, just hearing his voice drives me crazy. I almost want, if you want one of my favorite shows to listen to, Tim, when he comes on, I would just.
Who are you talking about? Straight Talk Commerce?
Yes, and then you got the fake Sons of Anarchy, oxygen machine guy. Wannabe. What's it?
You talking about Gen X? Fuck around.
Yeah. That fucking guy's. Look at my tattoo, Tim. When he was talking about the dude.
He has a Proud Boy.
He's showing his whiteness.
He has a Proud Boy tattoo. He's a Proud Boy.
Because he said the fake what was the guy from Maryland that they deported, that they was trying to deport or whatever.
You talking about Kilmar Prego Garcia?
Yeah, Kilmar. He said, he had an M13 tattooed on his hand, which was fake. Everybody knows that. But then he goes and shows his tattoo of his Proud Boy, like showing his whiteness.
I mentioned yesterday that these folks are, a lot of these folks that MAGA don't have sympathy for are essentially N-word lovers. And I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. I got to move it on though tomorrow. Good talk as always. I saw you yesterday. I meant to get to you, but thanks for coming through today. Thank you.
It's all good, Tim. Have a good night.
You too. Appreciate it. By the way, folks, tap the screen. I'm going to ask. Not a lot of that happening now. We should have been around 70,000. Tap the screen, get us up to 60,000. You know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. This is free speech. We are MAGA friendly. Always have been. Always will remain so. You can criticize anyone on this program, including yours truly, because that's what free speech is all about. Mr. Green wasn't under arrest. Why was she wrong for trying to leave? Miss Green? Who is Miss Green? Who is Miss Green? Come over here legally and you wouldn't have to worry. K54, that's not true. because Trump just got rid of temporary protected status. Those people were here legally. Trump just got rid of a lot of folks with asylum claims. They were here legally. Trump is getting rid of Afghans that helped us out in the Afghan war. They were all here legally. Same thing about coming to the country from Cuba, which was a legal way to come here if you got to step foot on it. Trump has gotten rid of a lot of legal ways to come here. So the idea that if you come here legally, as K54 is saying, you wouldn't have to worry, that is not true. That is patently false. They're not just getting rid of illegal immigrants. They're just calling them all illegal immigrants. A lot of the folks that are being kicked out of the country are not here illegally. They have cases. They've done what you're suggesting. They came here legally, and they're going through the process to stay here. And suddenly agents are showing up at court and just detaining them and deporting them. No illegal immigrant is going to be showing up to court. If you're hanging around court grabbing people, they obviously are here legally going through the process. So yeah, the idea of just come here legally and you'll be okay is patently false under Trump. Billy Wap says only if you're here from South Africa. Well, that ain't true. The black South Afrikaners aren't going to get that love. It's the white ones. This is true. Your confirmation bias fantasy in your head ain't, says Mr. Fuzzy. Okay. Nobody should lose their life, but nobody should take that much firepower with them to a peaceful rally. But that's the problem, Peter. You're saying no one should take that much firepower with them to a peaceful rally. He had a handgun and some extra rounds in regards to other magazines. You could take that much firepower with you to church. So I don't know. Either we have a Second Amendment or we don't. There are states that now allow you to take a firearm into bars and places that serve alcohol. Why is the protest being taken off limits? You're going to tell me Kyle Rittenhouse didn't have that much firepower on him that day? All of a sudden, Alex Preddy brings a firearm and a couple magazines, and suddenly you shouldn't bring all that to a protest. I recall Kyle Rittenhouse getting to meet with the president for what he did. This is hypocrisy, folks. I'm just going to tell you, this is hypocrisy. All of a sudden, now it's wrong to bring a firearm to a protest when you've been defending exactly that for years. This is hypocrisy. And by the way, there are some folks on the right that are pointing it out. Colin Neor makes a lot of videos on YouTube, but he's an NRA spokesperson. He's an African-American. He's a lawyer, but he's pro-NRA. He's pro-Trump. He made a video talking about how hypocritical it is. Like, we've been defending people's right to carry firearms everywhere. All of a sudden, because he's a leftist, you suddenly don't. And he made a good statement. He said something to the notion of, if you are only for Second Amendment rights when they're being observed for your side, then you're not really for the Second Amendment. He made a good point with that. In other words, you're okay with taking away the Second Amendment rights of the opposition, but if you were in that situation, you would want your rights maintained. Great point he made, but some folks are pointing out the hypocrisy of it. Now people are ready to toss their rights away because of this. Yeah. Well, no, they're not ready to toss their rights away in the comments there, Mr. Fudd. They're ready to toss your rights away. They absolutely, listen, let's say, for instance, there's some more claims of election fraud. You think the right are not going to bring firearms to polling places and things where they think people are cheating? You think they suddenly would all of a sudden say, yeah, he was right, we shouldn't bring guns to a protest? No, they believe you shouldn't bring rights to a protest, not them. It ain't meant to be towards them. It's meant to be towards you. Tap the screen. I'll take the next caller at 60,000. She was totally multiple times. She refused when they went to open her door to arrest her. That's when she took off. Yeah, Peter, like I said, I don't believe that had Renee Nicole Good not been shot, some officer would have been deceased. I don't think it was a me or her event. I think what she did legally allows the law to take her life. If you're in a car and a cop is in front of it, I don't care if you're driving at 1 mile an hour, and the cop takes your life and says, I thought he was going to step on the gas. I saw my life flash before my eyes. It's going to be legal. It's going to be a legal shoot. I think that she was coming at the officer, whether or not the wheel was turned and all these other statements. Car was going in his general direction. I think that it would be considered a justifiable shoot. but I believe it was an optional shoot. I don't believe that had he not taken her life, he would be seriously injured or face some serious bodily harm. I do not believe that. I think he did what was required to save his life, and it had nothing to do with pulling the trigger. Just get out of the way of the fucking vehicle. And he did that. He got out of the way of the vehicle. But because the law also allows him to shoot in a situation like that, he did. I always use the comparison of in what is called a free play for you football fans out there. You get the ball hyped to you as a quarterback, and immediately the other side is offsides or something like that, so a flag is thrown. As the quarterback, you already know I can throw the ball downfield. If I score or if it's a good play, it counts for us. If I throw an interception or anything that's bad, it doesn't count because the flag's already been thrown. It's called a free play. That's what I believe the officer that took the life of Renee Nicole Good was doing. He had a free play. Once you drive towards me, doesn't matter if I can get out of the way or not. I can shoot you. It's a free play. I can shoot you without any accountability or being held at fault. You're driving in my direction. Even though I can easily get out of the way, I can shoot you. It's no different. You yourself as a citizen, as a self-defender, you get free plays. If someone was breaking in your house in the middle of the night, you knew they were not armed. You knew you could easily handle them physically. Maybe your daughter has a boyfriend that you just don't like. You really want her to get rid of this dude. She's fell in love with him. You would love to get rid of this dude. She's sneaking him in the house at night. You know he's not there to harm anybody, but he is sneaking through the window at her request. That's a free play. You can pop him. You can actually take his life. I didn't know somebody was coming in my house. That is a free play. You occasionally, as a citizen, get free plays. Optional shootings that you can get away with. Anyway, looking in the comments here, he said, what down is it? Doesn't matter. Penn placed himself in front of the vehicle, led to the situation of having to respond with his weapon, which means that he is responsible for the whole situation and not her. Maybe a civil jury may award some finances based on that, but he's not going to face any criminal penalties for that. At least in my opinion. I don't even think at the state level they would be able to get him for that. Even though he put himself in a bad situation by standing in front of the car, maybe that goes against officer protocol. But once you're in that situation and you're saying you fear for your life, nobody's going to expect you to stand there and get ran over. I don't think it makes sense to shoot a driver coming at you because a dead driver doesn't turn the wheel away from you. A dead driver is not going to step on the brakes. They're going to do exactly what Renee Nicole Good did. Continued on in that direction until they strike something, stopping the vehicle. So I don't know why officers shoot drivers. It's not going to stop them. Only way that works is if you're sure if she misses you, she's going to back up and turn around and keep trying until she hits you. Then in that case, you got to take her life. I don't see Renee Nicole Good doing all that. Let me go back to the box. LOL, watch the video and now educate your overweight butt. The direction the wheels are pointing is okay, let me read this again. Coming from Monty Richardson. Says, laugh my ass off. Watch the video. I guess this is on Renee Nicole Good. Says, watch the video. And now I educate your overweight butt. A lot of body shamers on here following Gangsta Grandma's lead. Says the direction the wheels are pointed is the direction the vehicle is headed. Now that direction was away from Jonathan Ross. He was never. Let me just make something clear. The police is not responsible for looking at the direction of the fucking wheels. If a car is moving in your direction, you don't have the responsibility to see if she's trying to turn and avoid you or anything. She's been told to stop. She's continuing on in your direction. You're not looking down to see which way the tires are turned. He's not going to be held responsible for looking at all that. And I see in the comments, Magareact says he can't see the wheels, which is another good point. There's no proof he can see the wheels anyway. Mike, the boss. Good evening, Mike. Welcome to the program. Shots 2 and 3 are not justified. No, but the problem is once you start popping, there is a science on how long it takes your body to stop shooting at the threat. And it's all of those shots were in conjunction with each other. So I don't even know if that'll work. Mike, good evening.
What's going on, Tim?
A lot. They raided the Ecuadorian embassy, first of all. some folks are saying that's an act of war because it is sovereign Ecuadorian territory in Minnesota. What say you?
I say that they're going to continue to challenge the status quo on what the legalities are in this country until something really bad happens to them. That's just the bottom line. Because here's the thing. If they don't know, think about this. If they don't know that they're not supposed to go in an embassy, if they don't know legally that they're not supposed to do that, where do you go from there? Like who? If they don't know, who's supposed to know?
That's a good point. What now? MAGA reacts is saying a consulate is not an embassy; it's sovereign territory.
It's all sovereign territory.
Yeah,
See, here's the thing, MAGA reacts. Look, okay, here's the thing, MAGA reacts. Since you got something to say, you and DJ dumbass Julio. Google.
Julio didn't like you.
Consulate. I don't give a fuck. Google either one and tell me if you have rights to do either.
Right.
I know they're not the same. But you will look up, one will say emphatically no, and the other one will say you have to have a warrant. Either way, what they did was against the law.
Yeah, and real quick, while you were illustrating that, Tim, I just brought up the AI overview because I asked what is the difference between a consulate and an embassy. It states an embassy is a main diplomatic mission in a capital city handling high-level government relations, while a consulate is a branch office in other major cities focused on providing direct services, passports, visas, citizen help to people acting as a so if you got a consulate, it's going to be in a big city, but there may be other smaller areas, so that folks don't have to drive all the way to the capital city. But they're essentially the same thing. So
either way, the one thing you can't do is just walk the fuck in. Listen, I'm not a scholar in any of this stuff.
You don't have to be in some of this stuff.
Yeah, it looks like one of them reported me because I got.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that.
But that's been happening.
Mike. What did they say? You too uppity. You one of them uppity Negroes. They don't like you, man.
Too smart. You can read. He's can read. But let's be clear on something. Tim. You said it earlier. They just told us that the whole reason to be in Minnesota has nothing to do with immigration. They just want the voter rolls.
That was crazy that they would actually. That was crazy that they would actually make that clear that we would remove ICE from your city if you give us access to the voter roll. So it's nothing to do with Somali fraud, nothing to do with illegal immigrants. It's just a what do you want to call it? A strong arm. You're just trying to strong arm them. MAGA's not saying anything about this.
Absolutely. And when they come up, you need to make sure you ask them that question. Because if they're willing to remove them because of that, that means that they weren't there for that reason.
Well, listen, I'll give it up. I'll give it up to President Trump. This is to my beloved MAGA. You're going to like this, but I'll give him credit. He is really good at using some other reason to get what he wants. I mean, we'll use the Venezuelan boats to get oil. We'll use security to get Greenland. I mean, what he is telling you wants, or the reason he's giving you is not generally what he wants to do. So sounds like it was not about Somali fraud or illegal immigrants in Minnesota either. He wanted to get access to the voter rolls.
So just say, so instead of all that dancing and kowtowing and tap dancing and shit, he's good at lying.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, I know. So I'm going to say it for you. He's good at lying to you, and you guys are good at taking it. Yeah. You guys are good at taking it. You guys just been right on over. Listen, and the funny thing is, you know what? It makes perfect sense. They're asking everybody else to just comply because that's what they do. They just comply to whatever he says. They just comply. His supporters just comply.
Well, but he's not. Wait, Mike. They don't have a reason not to comply. Trump is doing things for MAGA, not against them.
He's not. But he's not. What has he accomplished? He's deported less people, or he's deported less people. This whole thing that he sold them on, he's literally told you that's not what it's about. How many times has he said one thing and then showed them
that's not what his ultimate
Well,
goal was.
but it's the enjoyment of watching liberals squirm in the liberal tears. He is doing that. He is pissing off and winning victories against a hell of a lot of liberals. So they're willing to temporarily forego an economy right away, or ending the Ukraine-Russian war, or getting the Epstein files. As long as he keeps supplying them with victories against the liberals, we can live off a healthy diet of liberal tears until we get the other stuff.
As long as so let me translate that fuckery that you just said. So we're okay with him lying to us just as long as they feel good about him sticking to the liberals.
Yeah, because one of my viewers is saying right now Trump is better than Sleepy Joe. So he ain't Sleepy Joe Biden, he ain't Kamala Harris, so we can deal with that.
I know. And so it's about feelings. But I thought, you correct me if I'm wrong, I thought they were the party of fuck your feelings.
Fuck your feelings. Not my feelings matter if I'm a Republican. Fuck your liberal feelings. Yeah,
right.
They are that party.
Right. And I thought they were the party of calling everybody son. I've never heard people winning so much, wine so much in my life. Never seen it. In anything, in any sport. I've never heard people that are considered winners whining so goddamn much.
Yeah,
never even seen it.
But the liberals are the ones that whine, Mike. Whining from the right are legitimate causes to speak of. That's what it.
Sometimes, man, I wish you was closer. I would tase the shit out of you. I would love.
You gonna treat me like Alex Preddy? Well, then again, Alex Preddy probably wish he did get tased.
Now, I'm glad you said that. So, and next time,
and real quick, I'm going to interrupt you and ask my viewers to help your boy out with the TikTok cap, go the hat and mustache, show the program some love. Goddammit, 200 plus of you guys in here support the program. Go, Mike.
Yeah, so let me get back to DJ Dumbass Julio. If DJ Julio, because have you seen the AI photos out there about Alex? Have you seen the AI photos?
No. What Alex Preddy AI?
Yeah,
what do they show? Are they showing what DJ Julio suggested? He's reaching for his gun.
Well, I've seen at least two that they depicted with him standing face to face with the ICE agent with a pew-pew in his hand.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Key. Appreciate that. No, I haven't. So Alex Preddy, there's photos out there with Alex Preddy holding a gun.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes. Literally standing. Let me see if I can pull up the face. There's another one that's showing him with something in his right hand when he's on the ground, which turned out to be his wallet. But the ones they put out there were trying to make it seem different.
Yeah, in the comments, in the comments, Michael James is saying that's AI. He knows it's AI. He's just saying they're doing it. And thank you, Shirt 14 and DJ D's. Yeah, we know it's AI.
Yeah, I know it's AI. But the ones that like DJ Julio, either he's looking at AI and holding it to be true, or he's just flat out lying. Because at no point in time was that man's hands behind his back. At no point in time. And I don't know how many times they've watched the video. I told you I watched it at least 50 times. I haven't zoomed in it with my magnifying glass. At no times was this man's hands behind his back.
Yeah, I think MAGA Reacts also indicated he might be reaching for. MAGA Reacts was not as sure, but he did indicate there's a chance he may have been reaching for a weapon.
The man was never reaching for his weapon. He was actually trying to cover his head. And you know why he was trying to cover his head? Because they were kicking the shit out of him and they were hitting him with that can of bear spray. The man was trying to cover his head.
Yeah, that is crazy to hit the man on the head with a can of bear spray. I don't even know what he was doing we can take the firearm and him being shot out of the picture. I don't even know what he did to justify getting hit upside the head with a can of. I mean, hitting somebody upside the head with a metal can alone can cause great bodily harm. I don't know what he did to even lead up to that.
He didn't. And then there's 3 or 4 men on him. And then the idea, here's the thing. And then the idea that these men, listen, if you're a police officer and your first thought every day is fear to the point where you can't conduct your job by the oath you signed up for, you shouldn't be doing it.
Well, you got a fan, Mike, because Mr. Fuzzy Rink says, this guy is feeding you wisdom on a platter. So
Well, look, Tim, and listen.
Appreciate
again,
that, P-Dub. Thank you. Go ahead.
It's gotten so bad. The NRA is like, Trump, shut the fuck up. Y'all need to shut up about these pew-pews. Like, stop it. Because they know what that can lead to. They know that there's people legislatively that are waiting for that moment. Now,
wait, you said people legislatively waiting for, are those people on the left or the right, or who is legislatively waiting to take our guns away?
Well, I'm not saying take them away. I'm just saying an amendment. I'm not suggesting either side is trying to take them away. But I do believe that the left is trying to make amendments to the to two-way.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you got Trump on record and a hell of a lot of MAGA saying it's wrong to bring a gun to a protest now, if a left-wing congressman submits that as a new bill, shit, they are kind of pushed into a corner.
They are, and that's why the NRA is saying, Donald, shut the fuck up. But here's the thing: now you want to shut somebody up that you know can't stop talking. It was just okay when you thought he was talking on your behalf. But Donald was never shown, and he's never shown the ability to be disciplined, ever.
No need. I mean, the guy has never. President Trump has gotten what he's wanted his whole life. So I'm going to say he doesn't have a reason to show, that he can be disciplined. He hasn't never needed to be that. The guy does very well.
Well, he does very well with the lying and shit. And listen, and his supporters have never held him accountable for anything. So why would he stop doing what he's doing?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, he has no incentive to stop being an asshole or stop lying. Or he has no incentive to do any of that because they just drop down to one knee with no hands. And that's what happens. And that's what we're seeing. And so at the end of the day, it is what it is, Tim. I mean,
drop down to one knee with no hands. What are you indicating is taking place, Mike?
Yeah, well, you will fluffing at an all-time high. You know how it is. All of them. Even DJ Julio in the comments said, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Well, DJ, you should have known you were wrong before you said it. You should have, because when you say that stuff, there's people that are listening that think just maybe this guy is right. Just maybe he might be right. But if you go look at all the video, it's not even close. You're wrong. There was no 3 minutes before the altercation where they were in each other's face. That's a lie.
Wait a minute. Hold on. MAGA Reacts does have a video where there's an ICE agent arguing with the late Alex Preddy, and they are face to face. But Alex Preddy is constantly backing up, and the agent is constantly walking. The agent is keeping it engaged. Alex Preddy is clearly trying to disengage, and the agent is keeping the argument engaged.
But have you heard any of them ever say what you just said? Have you ever heard any of them say
they're making it sound like Alex Preddy stood his ground and they were arguing face to face like an umpire and a coach. No, that wasn't what was happening. The agent was clearly backing Alex Preddy up. I mean, Alex Preddy took several steps back, and the agent was constantly stepping forward. With each step, Alex Preddy was in retreat, staying in his face. So the agent was the one keeping that engaged.
Well, and again, so who's keeping it engaged again?
It was the agent. I mean, MAGA React showed the video claiming that Alex Preddy was arguing with the agent. And in his video, which he was trying to use to defend ICE, it's clear the agent was actually not only keeping it engaged, but was escalating the situation. He was not trying to tell Alex Preddy, stay on the sidewalk and we're good. No, he was fucking with him. He was clearly fucking with him.
Yeah, of course. What about the clapping after it? What about the clapping immediately after? You didn't see the video where the ICE agents were clapping right after the pew-pew? You didn't see that?
I heard them say it's like Call of Duty and shit. Yeah, I did see something like that.
Well, again, so the Call of Duty is when they had took those garbage cans and then they were pew-pewing. But I'm talking about right after those first pew-pews went off.
They were applauding the shooting?
One was, yeah.
I didn't see that.
Listen, put a one in the chat if you guys have seen that video where the ICE agent was clapping right after Alex got shot. Because it's not, Tim, it's not
these
like
dudes,
I'm the only one that
these
has
dudes
access.
are wow, man. They don't give a fuck. Why would you apply shooting? These dudes don't give a fuck. Wow.
And again, it's just ridiculous. I'm trying to bring it up right here.
So am I. That is inappropriate at the least, sinister at the worst. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's it. So I have a still. I don't have that video because I'm about to walk out of here in a second. But you see this still right here? You see that?
Hang on, let me bring it because I can't find anything where they're applauding. But you're not the first I heard. Yeah, he's in the process of clapping. Look like.
Yeah. Now, if you play the video, this guy is clapping.
What is that video titled?
It says Alice Pretty shooting aftermath horror as new clip shows federal agent clapping.
Is that starting from the beginning, or is that that frozen frame you have in the middle of it somewhere?
Well, yeah, this is just a screenshot. I didn't go look for the video. I could.
That's on YouTube. For some reason, it didn't come up for me.
Let me see. Here it is, right here. I'll do it.
Any audio to that?
You see the claps?
It's too small for me to see it.
Okay, hold on. No problem. Let me.
That's terrible. I mean, that is terrible to just do that. Peter McGilton says, "Oh, the Democrats party's all about feelings." I don't know what you think. The Republican Party don't have no feelings at all.
Oh, it's too blurry.
Yeah, I can't. It's too far back.
Yes, it's too far back.
Yeah. I believe you though, because you're not the first person I heard say it. I do believe you though. You're not the first person I heard say it, so I'll end up seeing it.
Yeah. So the point is this. So the point is this. At the end of the day, I just want these guys to do a little bit more research. Listen, I'm not always right, but what I try to do is make sure that I'm doing my research and just looking. Now you can't explain why they're saying this is like a Call of Duty and this is kind of cool. That from a federal agent with everything going on, show me where they've tried to de-escalate anything, Tim. From the president all the way down.
Here's what I don't get. Now, I would like a president to govern from a standpoint of unity, but I'm going to give Trump a pass, as I told my last caller. He didn't run on unity. He ran on division. He made it clear. He stated, "I will be your president of retribution." Why are folks expecting him to be a unifier? He made it clear when I get in there, I'm going at the Democrats. I'm going after my adversaries. I'm going at the folks who stole the election from me. I mean, he made it clear I'm going to be divisive as fuck, and we voted for him.
I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying is I just wish that the Trump supporters would acknowledge that. They keep making it seem like that's not what he's doing. They think that he is literally doing this for all Americans, but they do, Tim.
Wait. You're telling me that you're hearing MAGA suggest that Trump is leading this nation for all Americans? You got MAGA telling you? Are you for real?
Well, Tim, no, I'm very for real because think about it. That's the reason why they're justifying it. They're justifying these actions. The only reason you justify it is to normalize it. Like, this is just, it was justified because at the end of the day, if they were being honest, they would say, we don't give a fuck. This is what we elected him for, to run through and do whatever. And if people got to be unalive to get what we want, so be it. Just stand on that shit. But don't sit up here and go, well, the wheel was turned toward his life wasn't in danger, and neither were these officers. Yeah. That's not their objective. Just stop saying that shit. Just stop saying that shit.
I don't know why any MAGA would try to indicate that Trump is a unifier and the Democrats just have Trump derangements. I mean, the guy literally said, "I hate all Democrats." I mean, he is not running on unity. Just give it up for the guy. He's doing what's best for you if you're MAGA, in your opinion. He's running as a president for those who have shown him loyalty and support. The ones who haven't, fuck them. Liberal cities where they didn't vote for him, fuck them. He's not running for them.
And that's why he's there, and that's why they went and raided Georgia today. It's all about the elections and getting that information. And again, so when they come up here, Tim, you don't challenge them enough. You don't make MAGA reacts and Julio and say you're okay with this shit. Stop trying to dance and go, well, if you just comply and if you just get on the sidewalk and if you step back 3 inches, they don't give a fuck about none of that. Because if they did that, they would make an excuse.
Mike, you were not around when I gave a whole spiel and monologue on what an N-word lover is. So, because you wouldn't have said what you just said if you had heard me give a spiel on that, because I've stated that's why they don't sympathize with all these folks, whether it's the folks that Kyle Rittenhouse killed that were white, Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good are white. The guy that Daniel Penny killed down in Texas at a BLM rally was white. They don't care about these folks because of the N-word lover part of it. I gave a spiel on that. You wouldn't have said what you just said because, I believe there's a reason why they sympathize with some people dying and other folks not dying.
No, I actually heard a part of it. What I said was when they come up and try to push back on this shit. I heard your monologue. I heard your opening. Like you.
No, this wasn't part of an opening, though. This wasn't part of the opening.
No, I'm just messing. I'm just messing with you. What I'm saying is, when they come up and say this shit, like DJ Julio said, he was reaching. There's no video to show that he was reaching, but they're just making excuses for the shit that they voted for. This is the soft shit I'm talking about. If you voted for him to be this, just say it.
Well, they are. You're not giving MAGA their proper credit. Damn it, they are saying this is what I voted for. On all of these videos, go through the comments, and people are saying this is what we vote. Even on these deaths, that's what they are putting in the comment section. This is what we vote. They're telling you what you're claiming they're not saying. They are saying that.
Yeah, some of them are, but most of them aren't. Even when they come up on the panel, they equivocate, don't they? Has MAGA Reacts come up here and said, this is what I voted for?
No, but I'm going to ask him soon.
Yeah, you sure ask him. Has DJ Julio come up here and said, this is what we voted for?
DJ Julio said 99% of ICE agents are doing a good job. So, yes, I got to move it on, but he made it clear ICE is doing a good job.
That's the equivocation. That's the equivocation. They'll make excuses. And well, if he just would have walked backwards straighter, fuck out of here.
Mike, thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. I did see a comment I wanted to respond to. I voted for deportations of illegals. Then you shouldn't be totally happy, MAGA Reacts, because he's not. Some of the folks being deported are not illegal. I mean, hundreds of people being deported are not here illegally. Like I stated before, if he got rid of your asylum claim or you helped the American service personnel fighting on our behalf in Afghanistan and he's kicking you out, you're not here illegally, but they're treating you like that. So there's a lot of folks that are the Haitian migrants in Springfield, the ones eating cats and dogs, remember them? Kicking those folks out. They're not here illegally. They're all here legally. A lot of folks in your area, MAGA Reacts, down there in Southern Florida, not here illegally. A lot of them even have family members that voted for Trump. They're not here illegally. Anyway, looking in the comments briefly, and thank you for the hat there. I don't know who just said that. Appreciate that TikTok cap coming from Rapid Reports. By the way, for my YouTube audience, I'll give the quick spiel. If you're watching us on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, follow the program. If you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. We're here most weekdays. For YouTube in particular, smash that like button. Helps out the algorithm. We want to make sure the program remains on air. So smash that like button if you happen to be watching us on YouTube. There's hundreds of you folks in there. So a lot of you folks enjoying the program, but you haven't tapped the damn like button. We try to deliver good content, uncensored. You can be on whatever side of the aisle you want to be on without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you for your comments. This is free speech all day, every day. And we are MAGA friendly. This is what I voted for. In the comments coming from the Jaka. So yeah, MAGA's saying that they are constantly saying that in regards to this is what I voted for. And you know, back in the day, governors, mayors, and senators would not go on national TV and say, yeah, you use your body to prove your point on this. They're telling people to do this. They want, yeah, but I mean, didn't Trump tell folks that if they punched a protester, he would pay their legal fees? We're in a different era now. I mean, we're in an era where politicians are literally promoting violence. What is the woman, the African-American woman? She's a representative out of California, older woman. Talked about getting up in Republicans' faces and things like that. I can't think of her name right. Maxine Waters. She's talked about that. So there is political violence in the current atmosphere we're in. And you're not getting any type of suggestion to cool down from leadership. I mean, because Trump is knee deep in it. I mean, he's also part of that. He's not telling, we're in a country where the only way we're going to unite folks is to do it from the bottom. It's like a platoon uniting under a divisive general. You're not getting unity from the top. You're getting division. So the only way we come together is we either do it on our own or we get rid of what's at the top and find somebody that's going to be unifying. And half of us don't want to get rid of who is at the top. A lot of folks in this country think Trump is the best president we've ever had. So that's not going to happen either. So the chances of us becoming a more unified country is probably slim to none for at least a better part of a decade, in my opinion. At least the next 3 years for certain. And depending on how Trump goes out, there's going to be a lot of angry MAGA no matter how that happens, because whoever follows Trump is not going to beat Trump. I don't care if it's J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio. None of them have the it factor that Trump has. So there's going to be some unhappy MAGA no matter who follows Trump, whether it's a liberal or another member of the MAGA clan. Nobody has what Trump has in terms of MAGA. So probably the better part of a decade, we're going to be a divided country. And that's also including how we are viewed internationally as well. We are really divided internationally as well. Most of our allies no longer feel confident that we're an ally of theirs. I mean, look at the way we're treating Canada. Canada, who would have thought? Anyway, going back to the box and tap the screen, get us on up to, we should have been around 90,000. Get us up to 80,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Smash that like button if you happen to be watching on YouTube. I never say that, but I'm going to ask today. Civil rights leader Louis good trouble. Well, maybe Alex Preddy was getting into good trouble, but good trouble can have adverse consequences. I mean, look, I see folks on the right saying that Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good should have stayed home. Fact is, they would be alive if they had stayed home. They would be alive today. You are a disgrace, says Mr. 1966. But the problem is, this is a free speech program. We don't censor any of your comments. You can be critical of anybody you want, including yours truly. But I'm going to say the same thing I say often. When you put in shit like you're a clown, you're a libtard, you're a disgrace, you're a sellout, you're an Uncle Tom, you're a black MAGA, if you don't add anything to that, we can't do shit with it. You may have a legitimate comment or criticism that might be worth discussing. But you are a disgrace contains not a damn thing we can work with. In fact, to follow your lead, sir, I've had it's a disgraceful comment to make when there's nothing with it. It's like handing you 2 pieces of bread with no fucking meat in between. Try again. The comment section is open to you, sir. Anyway, continuing on with the program, as we say, this is free speech. We'll go to Coachy Poo, I think that says. Good evening, welcome to the program. I have to take a smoke break, says Marty Jackson. Enjoy your smoke, Marty. You know that stuff has been known to be bad for you. Coach, good evening, and thank you, Alter Ego. Appreciate it. Coach, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing tonight?
I don't know. I'm in the trenches, man. I'm hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. So let me ask you, ICE, 99% of officers doing a good job. What say you?
I mean, probably. I mean, it's hard to put an exact number on it, but I certainly think there's more good than bad. Now,
are you satisfied with their performance so far?
So I think what's important is we have to be able to objectively look at each scenario objectively. Because remember when the Renee Good thing happened, everybody is convinced that a murder took place. Now this one happens. It does appear in this one that there's probably more liability than the first one. But you got to be able to objectively look at those differently. You know, a vehicle's involved in the first one. You got a person reaching in the back seat of the first one. You have an officer who's...
Wait, who was reaching in the back seat in the death of Renee Nicole Good?
The wife, the girlfriend.
They didn't touch her, though.
No, but I'm saying that just brings another aspect to the issue. Is she reaching in for a weapon? We don't, again, I mean, there's a lot of things that are going. All I'm saying is objectively, you have to look at these scenarios.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is she reached into the car. She may be reaching for a weapon or something. They didn't even detain her. So obviously the ICE officers didn't think she was doing anything threatening.
Well, that's when she drove off, though, too, is instantaneously at the same time. And the only reason I say this, if you go back to the George Floyd situation, obviously the officer in that was liable for murder, in fact. So, I mean, I don't know if you can do much.
Do you agree that Derek Chauvin, when it comes to the death of George Floyd, do you agree he did commit murder?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the laws. But
in your opinion, we're speculating. In your opinion,
yeah, I think he is certainly guilty of a crime. Yes.
Okay.
But my point being is soon after, specifically, and I don't remember the exact details, but there's many instances right after that got lumped into the same thing as George Floyd. Specifically, Atlanta drive-through Wendy's.
Yeah.
Where a guy passed out on the drive-through. Officer approached the guy. The guy jumped out, tried to take his pew-pew away from him, fought him, and then drove off and got pew-pew. That's a very different scenario than George Floyd.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying you got to be very, very careful on doing this. Now, the reason I came up is I heard with the last guy, you called this guy a disengager.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, did you see the video what I was stating where the guy is walking backwards and the ICE agent is continuing to walk in his face? They're both arguing with each other, but Alex Preddy is clearly in retreat, and the officer is clearly maintaining face-to-face contact with him.
Yeah, so now I also understand, too, that different scenarios doesn't really matter, so the relevancy could be mute, but I just want to ask you if you do think this is a disengager, okay? Can you blow me up?
Sure, hang on a second. Okay.
Let me know if you think this is a disengager.
Now that's Alex Preddy standing there by the back of that SUV. Looks like an Expedition or so, or an Explorer. Okay. No, he's not disengaged. No, he's yelling there. He's clearly yelling at him.
Is he still disengaging?
No, he's kicking it. That's not Alex Preddy, is it?
Yes, they believe so from the previous encounter. Now,
wow.
The previous encounter is irrelevant to this encounter. All I'm stating is I don't think that's a disengager.
Here's the problem I have with the video you posted. Now, in this video, for folks on my other platforms, because you guys on TikTok and Instagram, better yet on Instagram and YouTube can't see what he's showing. Here's the problem I have with this video. ICE is so heavy-handed, it's hard to imagine that he kicked the actual brake light off of that vehicle and they didn't arrest him there, considering how little it took for them to push that woman down. I mean, so he committed all this damage and they just let him go until the next event?
Yeah, they sprayed tear gas in the whole crowd and then they dispersed because the crowd was getting heavy again.
That don't seem like the ICE I've come to know and hate. I would imagine ICE would arrest him for that.
Isn't as horrible as you think, because quite frankly, maybe you could make the argument is maybe he should have been unalived a week earlier.
No, he should. He didn't do anything to deserve to die, but kicking the brake light off of the vehicle.
Did he not?
Yeah, if that is him kicking the brake light off that vehicle, he should be placed under arrest for damaging, federal property. But I'd have to see that video. And I hate to sound like MAGA with in Charlie Kirk taking him out of context and shit, but I would like to see that video in its entirety where they let him kick the light off the vehicle and then let him get up and walk away for him to come back again, because the ICE that I've come to know don't let you get away with doing something like that. They would arrest you for far less.
Right. Well, again, and it's showing part of it right now when because the crowd started getting heavy. So there's a danger aspect of that as well, too. So they sprayed tear gas and they got on their way. And some of it is highlighted. And again, it's not 100% yet. They've said it's 90% sure that it's him. It's even the same clothing and jacket that he is wearing. They've done facial recognition of it. There are obviously reports already that they had a previous encounter with him.
But the problem is none of that has, they had previous encounters with George Floyd. None of that has anything to do with the actual event where his life was lost.
100%.
Yeah,
I don't disagree.
Even if he is a genuine agitator or a genuine bad guy, that scenario where he lost his life is separate from any of this other stuff that people are coming up with.
And I agree 1,000% with you. So that is the important aspect of it. All I'm saying is, does that look like a disengager? Like, do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think Alex Preddy was a pain in the ass? Don't be worried.
I think every one of them out there. And I see in the comments, Quality Learning Center, not Learning Center, Learning Center, says it just paints a picture that he is not peacefully protesting, which is what my viewer here said. No, I do think he's a pain in the ass. All of the protesters, blowing whistles, all of them are what do you call it, pain in the ass. But let's be clear, Coach, the only way to successfully protest is to be a pain in the ass. If you're not a pain in the ass, you're easy to ignore.
Yeah, and I agree with you there too, and that's where we should commend Alex, is he got exactly what he wanted. He went there looking for attention, and he got more than he bargained for. Look at the attention he's getting. Congrats, Alex.
Well, he's probably going to make his family millionaires, though, if they just wait until Trump is out of office. Huh?
Yeah, they already are. The GoFundMe's already, I believe, up near 2 million.
But no, they're going to get a lot more than that from the federal government. What they did to him is going
Maybe.
Most juries are going to award a lot more than $2 million for something like that. I think, in my opinion, you would be hard pressed to find a jury of 12 people to say that wasn't, a wrongful death on the hands of law enforcement. Now, Renee Nicole Good, a good lawyer for the federal government, depending on the jury, if you're screening the right people, you might be to get that one off. But what happened to Alex Preddy, you're going to have a hard time finding a jury saying that he deserved that to happen to him.
So that's my original point as well, and I'm not sure if you did, because you seem to take a pretty open look at all this stuff, but the majority of people, especially on the left side, following the Renee Good, they were saying the exact same thing that they were saying now. And again, to your point, I'll be the first to say that it appears there's more liability in this case. I think at a minimum in this one, people will lose their jobs.
Well, I get your point about people were calling the death of Renee Good the same way they're calling the death of Alex Preddy, but some of that's politics. The same way they reveled, what is his name, Kyle Rittenhouse as a hero, and all of a sudden bringing a gun to a protest is suddenly off limits. I mean, what happened? Why is Alex Preddy bringing a firearm so wrong? And by the way, they're making up stories like, well, don't bring a gun if you're going to engage with the cops. So you're going to argue. Trump didn't say any of that. He said just bringing a gun to a protest is wrong. Kristi Noem didn't say any of that. She just said bringing a gun to a protest is wrong. But yet when Kyle Rittenhouse and the Michigan mask mandate folks did it, they were cheering them folks on. So what's the difference?
Yeah, no, you're right. And my last point, and I think this is a big one, is you do know where the protesters are right now, don't you?
As we speak, I'm not in Minnesota. I couldn't argue with that. I couldn't answer that.
Yeah, they're outside Tim Walz's office.
What are they protesting Tim Walz for?
Because Tim Walz is making agreements with Trump. Let this be a lesson, guys. Liberals don't pick a side. They just want to fight. They will eat their own eventually. They will.
As if Marjorie Taylor Greene is not getting consumed by the right. And Liz Cheney and all of them folks.
In every single scenario, in the end, liberals eat their own.
And you don't see any of that on the right. Just only on the left they're eating their own. You don't see all of
it may happen some on the right, but it always happens on the left. In the end, they will eat their own.
Coach, come on. Every conservative hero you guys supported, all of the ones for president, by the way, Mitt Romney, John McCain, the Bush family, even the Reagans, you guys don't like any of them folks anymore. You've ate all your young. You're literally starting to bite into your own neck at this point.
Wait. You just used the word hero. Let's talk about your heroes.
Okay.
George Floyd. What's the guy in New York that pew-pewed, the United Healthcare guy? I mean, there's another great.
You're talking about Luigi Maggione.
Yeah, Luigi, the hero. I mean, you guys got some real.
I'll tell you something. We can discuss George Floyd, but I'll tell you something. There's a lot of folks on the right that favored what Luigi Maggione did. There's a lot of folks on the right that don't like healthcare ripping people off. So I watched Bill O'Reilly, one of his videos where he was chastising fucking Luigi Maggione. And a lot of his commenters are like, look, Bill, that's what happens when you're corrupt. So a lot of folks on the right are cheering on Luigi Maggione, so don't put that just on the left.
I don't know if he's a hero to him.
I'm just saying, a lot of folks that support Luigi Maggione taking out a healthcare CEO that's making money off of people's health, they're not all left-leaning. There's a lot of folks on the right that don't like healthcare costs as well.
I'm just saying, I want to be real proud of the Mount Rushmore of heroes of the liberal side. Is that fair?
Well, I'm trying to think who would be on the Mount Rushmore of liberals in modern times, but I don't know who would be on your. I guess Trump would be on the Mount Rushmore for your side, but my God, I mean, you're going to take down Abraham Lincoln, who freed everybody, and put Trump up there?
I mean, it's better than putting George Floyd or Luigi up there.
I don't know. Trump has hurt a hell of a lot more people than George Floyd or Luigi Maggione. Trump is, you think that a lot of people ain't died from Trump deporting them to countries they didn't come from and shit like that? I'm certain people have died. We don't even know who was on the Venezuelan drug bus. We just know he killed them all. I mean, he's killing people.
That was a big game of you sunk my battleship, man.
But actually killing people though. You're playing a game, as ICE agents said. It's just like Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
You're killing people.
Come on, Tim. Come on. It's like you sunk my battleship.
You're killing people though, Coach. I get it. I like the game from the 80s, but you're killing people.
Oh, those one guys didn't die. They fell overboard.
And then you blew them up while they were in the water. You double tapped them. When all you actually wanted was a little bit of oil. You didn't give a shit about fentanyl of these boats. You just wanted access to their country to get the oil. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, so did we get it?
Yeah.
So we reached our goal, just like Alex reached his goal. He got a lot of attention.
This sounds like a very sick version of a Jerry Lewis telethon. You're killing the kids instead of raising money for them.
Hey man, it's 2026. We're in wild times.
We wouldn't be.
But my philosophy, I'm a low risk guy. So, I mean, right, wrong, and different. I'd rather be wrong and alive than right and dead.
Why would you even be concerned about being dead to begin with? You think Kamala Harris would be killing people like this had she won?
Well, I don't think Trump's killing them.
You don't think anybody died off the coast of Venezuela? Anybody died in Nigeria? Anybody died in those strikes in Iran? You don't think he's killing people? Syria? All of them bombs? You don't think he's killing anybody? Yemen? Gaza?
Yeah, I mean, maybe there. Yeah, that's a fair point. Who knows if Kamala would have or not? I don't know.
Yeah, didn't this guy run on America First, getting us out of overseas conflicts?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
I mean, shit changes. Environments change.
What changed from the time? What
he was wrong. He lied.
There you go. That's all you had to say was those last two fucking words.
Yeah, he's wrong. He lied. But again, I think I've told you before. There's one thing that shocks me more than anything.
What?
And that's when people are shocked that they're lied to.
Because he promised to drain the swamp and not be a typical politician, and now he's getting caught in lies, and he keeps he promised not to be a typical politician and drain the swamp, and every time he's caught lying, to save face, we compare him to a typical politician. Well, Biden did that. You were supposed to be different. Not to say you got in there.
Nobody's there. We're all liars. Name a human over the age of 3 that's not a liar.
Okay. I thought Ted Cruz was a liar or Hillary Clinton was.
Yeah, they all are. Kamala's a liar. She said she would win. She lied to you.
Yeah, that didn't happen. That absolutely didn't happen. But so in other words, he's just like the rest of them.
Absolutely. He's not just the rest of them. I've said it again. You know what people hate about Trump the most? He acts just like us. He's an asshole. Just like society.
I don't think
y'all can't look in the mirror and admit that you're an asshole yourselves.
I disagree. I think there is a segment of our population that are Archie Bunker like assholes, but I don't think we could survive for as long as this country has been kept together if all of us were acting like that. Because
let me prove to you right now that we're all liars. Watch in your chat.
I agree with that.
I'm not an asshole. Watch. Look, read. Look at all these fucking liars. I'm not an asshole. Yeah, let's ask your wife. Let's ask your fucking friends.
I'm going to say this. I don't think, Coach, that you could go around treating people like he treats the media and folks. If everybody did that, I don't think we would be anything other than a country full of people fighting against each other. I don't think we'd survive. If everybody patterned themselves after Trump, this would be probably this shit would be like Somalia. We would all be fighting each other.
Yeah, and I don't like the way, he speaks either. But again, I mean, if we want America to be great again, we collaboratively wake up tomorrow and be better humans than we are today, including him.
But I'm going to ask you the question. Since you mentioned if we want America to be great again, I'm going to ask you the question that everybody fucking asks me. Explain when America was great again and what was that like? Give me the parameters.
Well, I think America's always been great. So
what is he talking about?
I don't necessarily agree with the slogan. Huh?
So you don't agree with the slogan. Okay. Because people ask me all the time, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah, I think it's always been great. So I don't like I said, I don't necessarily agree with the slogan.
So he's lying again then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You voted for this guy, right?
Come on, Tim. Why are you're a grown ass man. How old are you?
Oh, I'm too fucking old, apparently. You voted for this guy, right?
Don't tell me that you're shocked that somebody's lying to you. Come on.
I've been arguing with MAGA coach for so long that have told me Trump is doing what he promised. He promises made, promises kept. He does what he says. That's why we like him. He shoots straight from the hip. He tells it like it is. He calls it as he sees. You're telling me the guy been lying the whole damn time?
Well, not only that, but look at the people that are arguing with you, telling them that he's doing all that. What are they doing to you? They're lying to you too. Like I said, quit being shocked that people are lying to you.
Aren't you?
Grown-ass man.
Aren't you MAGA?
I mean, I support I don't care who our president is.
What kind of answer is that? Who did you vote for?
I've never voted in my life. I create my own opportunities. I create my own failures. And when I fail, I don't blame somebody that lives 48 states away from me. I'll go create my own successes and failures again.
So you don't vote?
I don't care who our president is.
What kind of answer is that? I mean,
a truthful one. I'm not lying to you.
So you don't, no shit. So you don't care what ICE is doing?
I mean, I want him to follow rules and laws and stuff, but yeah, I mean, no offense to you, but most TikTokers, because I actually like your content.
Thank you.
Because you're pretty well versed on both sides, and you're open-minded to hearing what others think. Now, you may not agree with it, but you truly want to know.
Yeah.
But 99.9% of TikTokers don't give a fuck about any of this. They just want views and clicks. That's why I'm up here right now, man, for views and clicks. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I'm getting told the minute you said you don't vote, half of my audience said to say goodbye to your ass. So I'm going to. We're at the time limit anyway.
Let me guess. Those are the people that say no vote, no voice.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that.
But those are the people that will argue First Amendment and freedom. They don't understand freedom, do they?
Yeah, I mean, you make somewhat of a point, but I do believe if you're going to complain about who's in office or make demands on what politicians should do, you should partake in your civil duty and cast a fucking vote. That's just my opinion. You should vote if you're going to be discussing who's doing right and who's doing wrong.
Yeah, and I respect your opinion, but then if using that philosophy, would you agree then if you did vote, like who did you vote for, Kamala?
I voted left, yeah.
So did you vote left the election before for Biden?
Yeah. When Trump started talking about giving police immunity, because I didn't think his first term was that bad, but when he started talking about giving police immunity from prosecution in liberal cities, and he said that long before Minnesota and ICE, to me, that's like telling somebody on the right, if you put me in office, I'm gonna take away your gun rights. Nobody cares about the economy or anything else once you say something like that. Once he said giving police immunity, that was it.
Yeah, but just let me leave you with this. If the logic is if you don't vote, you don't have a voice, which, like I said, I respect your opinion. Wouldn't that logic also hold true if you voted for Biden? You really don't have the right to complain about Biden. That's who you voted for.
If he lied, like you're pointing out with Trump, you do. If I voted for you based on what you're promising, and then you get in there and you do just the opposite, yeah, I got a right to, because I helped get your ass in there, and I think what you're doing is reneging on your promise. Yeah, you got a right to complain.
Well, then I didn't vote because I didn't like either one, so I got a right to complain too.
You said you haven't voted in any election, though. That's different.
Correct.
That's different.
Because
it just sounds like you got bone spurs and you're not participating in the military. I got to move it on, though. Coach, thank you for coming through.
Thanks for letting me up. I always appreciate coming up.
Anytime. Come on back anytime. Tap the screen, folks. Get us up. We're trying to get up over the six-figure hump, but you guys are lazy as hell in here. Give me the 85,000. We can make that happen. Tap the screen, get the likes on up. Certainly close to that TikTok cap goal. I have to bring that up as on every show. Real quick, something I mentioned this earlier in the waste of time with him, says Black Ray. No, he has an opinion, though. He is a constituent. I mean, even though he's not exercising his right, but he is a citizen in the country. KG, yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you. Something that's a little bit off topic, I do want to bring up with you folks and ask your help on this. I mentioned this earlier in the live stream, particularly during the monologue. There are rumors, suggestions coming from content creators, particularly those on the left, that now that TikTok has been saved by the Trump administration and placed firmly within the grasp of the Trump administration, meaning that the ownership of TikTok now are Trump-friendly people. Many content creators on the left are saying that the app is being censored, it's heavy on censorship. Certain comments and statements are now being censored if they are anti-right, anti-ICE, anti-Trump, et cetera, et cetera. I'm hearing this. I'm going to say right now, I have not experienced it to any significant level, but I'm hearing it from content creators. Many of them I actually trust and watch on the left. I'm not hearing it from folks on the right. And there are plenty of content creators on the right that I trust and watch and tune into all the time as well. It's only left-wing folks. So what I'm asking, because if it gets bad enough, we may not be meeting on TikTok anymore. Through no fault of my own. Because listen, I do criticize Trump. You watch the program every day. We're a free speech program. We're not a program that just bangs liberals or, favors Trump or vice versa. We criticize left, we criticize right. And we know the Trump administration, I think we all can agree, whether you're left or right or wherever you're at on the political spectrum, Trump doesn't like criticism. We know that. He's attacked folks on the left and folks on the right that have criticized him. Marjorie Taylor Greene is sitting at home because of it. So if TikTok becomes unfriendly or to some degree maybe even unusable because everything is getting censored, I'm asking you folks, do you know of other platforms that may be suitable to visit? So I'm asking for your help on this, particularly in the vertical format. If you can bring up guests, that would be awesome. I certainly want to be able to monetize because I obviously benefit from that. So, because there are some apps out there where you don't have limit and shit like that. That doesn't exist. So, I would like to get some recommendations from you. I see somebody said Epic Studios. Hang on, let me write these down. I'm telling you guys, hang on, like you can do anything, but it's the comments moving too fast. Blue Sky. I saw somebody said Epic Studios. Epic Studios is great, huh? Okay, I'll put a star by that. I'll check that one out. We're on YouTube. We're already on YouTube Live. So you folks that are talking about YouTube, we are currently on YouTube already. But I definitely will look up Epic Studios and Blue Sky Substack. Never heard of that. Now, I'm assuming none of these apps have anywhere near the amount of participants as, TikTok or YouTube. But if TikTok, the censorship gets really heavy, I'm sure those apps will grow. I've heard about Twitch. I've never tried it. I did hear about that one. Black TikTok. Is there such a thing? Is that what the app is called? Black TikTok? I've never heard of that. I'm going to need more than a few black folks to, I want to have access to MAGA. Wherever I go, I want to bring MAGA with me. They're not going to be on Black TikTok very long. I don't think that would happen. Looking in the comments, he's a crybaby and thin skin. Who are you referring to? I don't know if you're talking about me. I heard you can't say Epstein. Wow. And that's what I'm talking about, is that if Trump is in control of the app, Trump is going to want something for it. And yeah, I could definitely see Trump using backdoor methods to censor TikTok. So we do want to have another platform we can land on. We have in the past used Clapper. Clapper is an app where I can go live and take callers. We have used it. We do have a page there. We have pages on Truth Social, that's Trump's platform. The Handsome Liberal on all platforms. Everything's called the Handsome Liberal. Truth Social, X, Rumble. These are places where I'm looking for MAGA, but you can't take anybody live on Truth Social or X. Rumble's kind of finicky, but Truth Social, X, Rumble, Clapper, Lemon, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, those are the ones we're on now. And I think Facebook. So we're trying to find places. We definitely want to find MAGA as well in those places. And MAGA's kind of finicky on some of the apps they use. They avoided TikTok, but perhaps now that Trump is in control of TikTok, at least virtually, maybe we'll start getting more MAGA on TikTok. Anyway, looking in the comments, truth out of the frying pan and into the fire. Yikes. What does that say? Up scroll. I heard somebody else mention that earlier. Up scroll is another. So I'll go ahead and write that one down as well. I'll instantly download all of these apps and then I'll try them out to see what we can make happen. So going back to the actual show, we'll continue on with Straight Talk Commerce. Good evening, Straight Talk.
What's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. Tell me what I'm getting wrong. You always
God,
never fail to
listen,
deliver.
I've explained this to you at least half a dozen times, and you refuse to let this sink in. I'm gonna try again for you.
Okay, talk to me.
I can't keep doing that. By the way, just for your edification, it's wise of you to notice Republicans, conservatives own 77% of all social media platforms in the United States. It's pretty smart of you to notice. That's why I wouldn't be counting on any blue waves if I were you. Just let's keep that between us girls. You guys you're in huge trouble.
I'll tell you something. If there is no blue wave happening in the midterms, I don't think it's going to be because the right controls 77% of the social media apps. I believe it's going to be because the right is going to interfere with your free and fair elections. I mean, what they're doing
Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about that for a second because you said some misinformation. I'm surprised it didn't get you taken off this platform.
Really? What did I say?
Yes.
Tell me.
In the state of Minnesota, a public information list is made available for public inspection. Any registered voter in Minnesota may receive a copy of the voter rolls. Any registered voter.
So in other words, the Trump administration. So in other words,
let me say it again.
Let
me say it again. Any registered voter, period, may receive a copy of the voter list of both parties, by the way.
So what you're saying,
Trump administration. Yeah, go ahead.
So what you're saying is the Trump administration never asked for anything from Minnesota in regards to voting so that they would get rid of ICE. That never happened.
No. What I'm saying to you is they had every right to ask for that voter list.
Okay.
This is public information.
Let's go with that.
This is information that you could ask for if you wanted. You don't even have to be a citizen of Minnesota to ask for it.
Okay, let's go with let's say everything you're saying is fact. I'm completely wrong.
I'm reading it from the state.
Okay, I get the point. Okay, I'm not arguing your point. What I'm saying is, how the hell if you do this, we'll get rid of ICE is there for Somali fraud and illegal immigration. Why the hell are they promising to get rid of it for something that has to do with voting?
Yes, yeah. Let me explain to you why. Because they're not getting that list. In other words, the Trump administration is telling you to your face that there is fraud and shenanigans going on in Minnesota. They are not getting the publicly available list that they need to prove it. And they are saying, if you release this list, we're going to remove some of these ICE. It's obvious that this is not working the way that we want.
Okay, ICE's job is dealing with immigration, not voter fraud. Why?
But there are a lot of states. Hold on. There are a lot of states that we don't have to do this. And Tim Walz is trying to cover up fraud.
None of that makes sense, though. You sent ICE to Minnesota in regards to Somali fraud and illegal immigration. And now you're saying you will forego your pursuit of Somali fraud and illegal immigration for something dealing with voting.
Nope.
That's exactly what's being said.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they are asking for access to something that they already should have access to.
I'm not arguing with any of that. I'm not arguing with any of that.
Okay, why don't they have access to publicly available documents?
Then send the feds in and figure that out. But you don't withdraw. Then send more of them. But you don't withdraw ICE if your goal is to go after Somali fraud and illegal immigrants.
Excuse me, aren't you asking him to calm down on ICE investigations in the state of Minnesota?
That ain't what you're
saying. By the way, let me say something else.
That didn't make any sense what you said, but go to the next. What else are you about to say? That made no sense.
Hold on. You have been asking for ICE to take a reduced role in enforcement of immigration in Minnesota. True or false?
Yeah, you're MAGA. You don't give a damn what I asked for.
We are willing to do that if you start. Why are you laughing?
Because you're MAGA. You don't give a damn what we asked for. Who cares what we asking for? You don't care.
Excuse me. You asked. You said, hey, wait. You said, hold on. You said, hey, President Trump, we would ask that you reduce your enforcement of immigration. We'll start following the law if you will reduce your enforcement of ICE. And he said, I'll call your bluff. Sure. I'll do that. And now you are flip-flopping and you are fluffing, just like Gangster Granny thinks you fluff for the right. I think you fluff for the left. So you fluffing for sure. We just
ain't no future.
Which side you're fluffing for?
Well, to quote the late MC Breed, who you have no clue who it is, but ain't no future in your fluffing. Let me just tell you this. I just want to tell you this. You guys on the right have never gave a damn about what the liberals wanted. So for you to bring that up, well, you guys want ICE to because you don't care nothing about what.
100% not. That is not the case.
Okay.
It's easy for you to say shit. It is so easy for your mouth to make those sounds. I wish that there was some truth behind.
Oh my
Let me
God!
tell you something about your boy Preddy. Let me tell you something about your boy Preddy.
Before you go into that, for my YouTube viewers, I need you to smash that like button. We got almost about 800 of you guys in here across the platforms on YouTube alone. Smash that like button. It helps out the algorithm. We try to bring you entertaining programming. This is uncensored, regardless of what your political affiliation. It helps out the algorithm. Smash the like button. Straight Talk Commerce, go.
If you all believe what he just said, I have some swampland in Arizona.
What did I say that was wrong? Tell me what
I am doing my own investigation of you, Tim. I want to see just how fair are you between MAGA and everybody else.
Explain. Give me a litmus test. I'll take it with you now.
I'm doing the investigation now.
Are you investigating?
Really paying attention? Yeah. Yes.
Are you going to investigate? I know how your investigations go. They're like you're looking into the 2020 election and you're Trump. I know how your investigations go.
Yeah, you're in trouble. That's for sure. I will say that I am predicting a big loss for you.
Oh my!
But I am honestly have a stopwatch next to me on how often or how much time you give a MAGA supporter versus how much time you give window lickers. Any random window licker on the left. I am often stunned by how short a time you spend talking to each of the MAGA people and how much this doesn't sink in. So let me help you.
Hang on, hold on. You've said some things I've disagreed with, a few things I agree with. That is the most asinine piece of bullshit. We got a fucking timer up there. You can literally go through all of my YouTube videos. They're all hang on. Every live we do is archived on YouTube. Even this one, you'll see them all with the same graphic that's here will be the thumbnail. You can literally count. We actually give MAGA more time. What the fuck?
We're going to find out, and this investigation is going to find that out. And I'll be the first one to tell you if that's true. But I will tell you this. Number one, no one knows that timer up in the corner, the left-hand corner. No one knows what that's for, A. B, if you think...
Everybody knows what that's for.
If you think that your audience can see that, you are smoking the wrong drugs.
Not only can they see it, Straight Talk, they actually comment on it. Why did he get more than 20 minutes? They asked me about that just yesterday.
Maybe it's my setup.
Yeah, you doing something fucked up over there because just yesterday I gave you 22 minutes. Yeah. And they didn't like it.
You had 22 minutes?
Yes. I give you MAGA reacts. I give all of you. I just gave DJ Julio today like 25 minutes, which is above the. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's MAGA? You think that's MAGA? You've got to be kidding me.
You're telling me MAGA reacts is not MAGA?
Dude.
Well, I'll tell you this.
These guys, you know what a doodlebug is? Do you know what a doodlebug is?
No, I don't. MAGA reacts is not MAGA. That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. He caves so quick that it is shocking when he talks to you. You are able to stop. Now look, I'm going to explain.
Well, I will hold on. I will say this in your in your favor. I will say this in your defense, Straight Talk. When you say MAGA reacts is not MAGA, you are the only viewer I've had out of all of my MAGA viewers that have stated you've never heard Trump tell a single lie. Most MAGA do not defend him to that level. You've said personally, I've never heard Trump lie. I don't get many people that say that.
Yeah. And I stand behind it. My definition of a lie is knowing that the information is false. I don't know that he thinks that the information he just gave me is false. He may be wrong about a lot of things, but lying, no, I'm not going to call you a liar unless I know you know that what you just said to me is wrong and it's false. That's a lie, Tim.
I'm not even gonna try to go against that. To me,
I know because you can't wrap your mind around it. It would totally disintegrate who you are as a person.
I gotta agree.
Now, let me tell you something else.
You know something? I wish my first marriage had worked that way, where it's not a lie unless I didn't know. I mean, you realize I can make all kinds of shit up.
You can't even repeat it back to me. This is how little you listen.
Either what you say out of your mouth is true or it's not. It's a lie. That's the way I look at it.
No. You're right. You are either right or wrong in what you say out of your mouth. Whether it is a lie or not depends on one thing. Did you know that you were saying a falsehood? That is a lie.
So let me ask you. When he gave his,
caught up in this.
Hold on, no, because it's crazy. When he gave his height and weight in regards to that mugshot he took in Georgia, where he sounded like he looked closer to, Jason Momoa from Aquaman. Do you think he was telling the truth or lying when he said he was?
Listen, I don't know what he said. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I didn't. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
Because you are crazy.
To what is? Do you think? What did he say? He was 175 pounds.
He said,
what did he say?
Yeah, he gave a weight in heights. It was just way off.
It was wildly off.
Yeah, it was wildly off.
Okay, well, that's a lie. If you want to call that a lie, that's a lie. If he knew that he wasn't 275 pounds, if he knew he was 310 pounds, okay, you got him.
Largest inauguration crowd in history, even more than MLK's "I Give a Dream" speech. You think that he said that as well?
Okay, do you think that he believed it, or do you think he didn't even believe it? Because I believe it. I looked at that crowd and was like, God damn, that's a big crowd. Someone got in the president's ear and told him, this looks like the largest crowd ever for an inauguration. You don't think people kiss his ass like that?
I think you do the way you're talking.
Yeah, I would probably tell him that. You're goddamn right. I'm a huge fan. Now, can we move on?
Let's move on. Where do you want to go? We got time. I'm going to let you.
I hear you say this. I hear you say this all the time. And, I come in here and I try to correct you. I try to help you.
You try.
You are determined not to understand what I'm about to say.
And
I need you to hear me. I need you to really listen to what I'm about to tell you.
Before you do, in my comments, I see Talia.
You got to interrupt.
Talia, I have to. Look, I got 5 different platforms. People are sending comments. The people need to be addressed as well. My MAGA viewers, my liberals want to be addressed. I give you time. They can't all get 20 minutes like you.
Do it.
But one of my viewers says, I can't even listen to this anymore. He is brain fried. Go ahead. Straight talk.
The difference between Kyle Rittenhouse and this Pretty or this good woman. Okay, let me explain to you the difference between those people. Kyle Rittenhouse took a weapon to defend. He didn't go there to protest. He went there in response to a protest. He went there to prevent loss of life, loss of people's property. Pretty had already previously broken a rib in a prior confrontation with ICE. He went there to agitate. He got his ass whooped 2 days before that and still went back for more.
I heard that, and I have to wonder, when he got his rib broken, why wasn't he charged with anything?
He was.
What was he charged with?
He got bailed out.
So he
got taken in.
What was he charged with?
Disrupting ICE. I don't know what the fuck the charge is.
I haven't heard. I heard about the broken
it's
rib.
all over the news. All you have to do is read a paper. All you have to do is go online right now. It's all over the place.
Okay.
And you don't do it.
I tell you something. Agitating is not a crime, though. Straight talk.
Listen. Okay. But don't say that it is the same thing as Kyle Rittenhouse when that's not what he was doing. He was protecting from a mob. He was not agitating. He was not. He was trying to help law enforcement. He was not trying to protest. Kyle Rittenhouse was not a protester. He was protecting himself from protesters. And that is why he was found not guilty. And that is why he received a very large sum of money.
He was found not guilty because they were trying to kill him. He had
and
to
he
defend
got a
himself.
bunch of money.
Yeah, I don't argue with Kyle Rittenhouse having to act in self. I do believe it was in self-defense. However,
there's your difference.
Hold on, hang on. You're so eager. You're just rambling. Let me make something clear. President Trump stated it is wrong to bring a gun to it. If you're there to protect yourself, that ain't what he said. He just said simply bringing a firearm to a protest is wrong. Kristi Noem said the same thing. You folks on the right are trying to twist it some kind of way so that
No, I'm not twisting shit.
I'm telling you.
I'm just telling you, call an apple and an orange an orange. If I had been Kyle's father, I would have told him, get your ass back in your room and play some goddamn Dungeons and Dragons or something. His ass would not have been walking around with an AR-15, Tim.
Okay.
You understand?
So we agree there. But the point I'm making is the Trump administration have openly stated it's wrong to bring a firearm to a protest. We can come up with all kinds of different reasons for why Alex Preddy bought his firearm versus Kyle Rittenhouse or the Michigan or the January 6 people.
Legalities. I'm not arguing the legalities.
Right, and there's no need to argue with. There's no need to argue with the legalities because the Trump administration didn't put any legalities in it. They said bringing a firearm to a protest is wrong. Period.
He should have said it was stupid. You're an absolute moron if you bring a weapon, a loaded weapon, to a protest. Especially if your intentions are to protest.
So in other words, the January 6 folks, Kyle Rittenhouse, whether he's there to
discuss this,
all of them
discuss the January 6th. Ashley Babbitt. Let me tell you one more time. Ashley Babbitt broke into the United States Capitol building through a window. She broke through the window. She had a Pathfinder knife in her pocket, and she was killed. I have zero problem with who did that. They would go home. She broke into my Capitol. Do you understand?
I understand.
No hypocrisy.
That's about the only thing we agree on over and over again. I'm going to have to make sure
hypocrisy, because I'm not a hypocrite. Because you are a hypocrite. I'm not.
You think you're not. You're hypocritical.
How am I hypocritical? Where's the hypocrisy in that?
The idea that you're not lying if you don't know you are, whatever the hell you just said about Trump.
Listen to me. Me and Webster's goddamn dictionary, Tim. Me and Webster's dictionary know and understand what a lie is.
James Harper, appreciate it. Go ahead.
You think being wrong is a lie. That's not a lie. I know that you want Trump to be lying to you. You have to. You have to believe that President Trump lies.
That ain't what I'm saying.
The only way I would follow President Trump is because he lies to me. No, wrong.
I can tell you a host of things Trump lied about. To me, his statements about the election are lies. The idea that with all of the folks that everyone on his first administration, hold on. Go ahead. What are you about to say?
I think you're about to find out that what you believe is a lie.
No.
I think that President Trump in his second term is going to show you why he was, and part of that is coming from the Minnesota, them wanting those voter rolls.
I'm going to tell you. Hold on. Hang on. Let me tell you something. First of all, if you only go to Democrat areas looking for fraud and just assume every Republican county that voted for you all voted free and fair, your whole fucking investigation is biased. Trump is on record saying there was widespread fraud in the state of North. Hold on, wait a minute. Trump is literally on record saying the state of North Carolina had widespread fraud in it. And once he won in North Carolina, he never researched it. So I don't care what you're finding in Fulton County or in Minnesota. If you don't go to areas where you claim there was fraud in that you won, your investigation has no credibility.
You know why I know you don't believe that? Do you know why I think you're lying right now?
Tell me why.
Because I don't see you spending this time calling your legislators and demanding that they release their voter rolls and that they as an investigation.
I don't think.
Hold on, let me finish.
I don't think the election was fraudulent.
But yeah, guess what? Because it came out your way.
No,
your way.
Not only did it come out my way, but all of the folks that Trump. Hold on, hang on. Here's the point I'm making. There's got to be a reason why Trump's whole first administration said he lost. People that would have served a second term, everybody from Mike Pence, all of them. Nobody on his own administration said he won. No Republican senator said he won. No Republican Congress.
I can answer that for you.
I would love to know what that is.
Yeah, because everyone he learned a lot from his first administration to his second. His first administration was packed with people that people had suggested to him. People who, you need Pence as your vice president. Yeah, you need to have all these rhinos and deep swamp actors that they infiltrated President Trump's first administration. That's why he didn't get as much done. And when he still was getting things done, here we come with the Wuhan flu. I mean, you can't write
that. Ain't got nothing to do with what I just said.
It has everything.
You're telling me the people no. It's a difference between picking people that don't know their job or don't have any talent versus people that literally lied about you losing an election when you're saying that his whole administration lied. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Based on what? Where's the evidence?
Or we're ignorant to the fact. And by the way, if you're about to get me kicked off this platform.
Your time is up anyway. Go ahead and land your plane. Your last word on you. Look at the timer. Look at the timer, goddammit. Look at the timer.
Yeah. And about 13 of those minutes have been you yapping. So you go ahead. I got the investigation. We're investigating right now, Tim. You're under investigation right now.
Okay.
The Altman administration I'm on to you. Believe that. I'm on to you.
All right.
I'll let you go.
All right. Straight talk. Always, my door is always open to you. We don't agree on. I was about to say we don't agree on shit, but we do agree on Ashley Babbitt. So come on back anytime. All right, moving on with the program. That is Straight Talk Commerce. Tap the screen. I bet Straight Talk wears high water, says him XX. Wow. So he was supposed to be the only one talking. That's what he's saying, Debo. He still hasn't got much done. Ask him how many bills he passed in 2025. You don't need to pass any bills when you are Congress. I mean, Trump's whole administration is going to probably be via executive order. I mean, Congress is going to let him do it anyway. So Trump is not there to pass bills. He's there to rule. So that's what's kind of happening. How dumb are you if you can't tell that ICE is the bad guy? Like, especially stupid. Well, I got folks that are saying that ICE is 99% good. So pass that on to them. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes on up to 120. James Harper. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate your support. James, good evening. Welcome to the program.
What's going on, Tim?
It's rough, man. They're not letting up on me, man.
Well, I mean, you keep letting people like Straight Talk come on there. Apparently, he's supposed to be the authority on MAGA now.
That's what he says. He says that even MAGA reacts ain't MAGA. That was crazy. I never heard that before.
That's about the craziest thing I ever heard, too.
Listen, I believe in letting the people speak. I don't have to always agree with them, but I let the people speak.
Yeah, but that was just crazy. Like, and then he just kept just making shit up, like left and right.
Yeah. And by the way, no crack pipes for racial equity. I see you in the comments there. Good evening. I haven't seen you in a while. So do you see, James, ICE being the bad guys of law enforcement, or is that an overstatement?
No, that's accurate as hell, because think about it. They're doing things that they swear up and down is that police should have been doing like around like the Black Lives Matter era. Remember, these are the same people that would be in like comments and videos. So if I was an officer, I'd have done this, and this, and now they're doing it.
So folks suggest that they're just securing the border for this great nation and trying to get the bad hombres out. You see more than that.
They're not trying to secure the border. They're acting like private. They're acting like a private army.
Ooh. Private army with what goal in mind?
To do whatever Trump says. Like, remember, like these guys think that the illegals are the reason why their life is not good. Even though like corporate greed and things like that are the reason why. But they swear up and down, oh, it's the illegals. It's these black folks. It's these Mexicans. Like, all these people are the reason why my life is not good. So let's go get rid of them and everything's supposed to get better.
There are some that, but you don't think all MAGA thinks that way, do you?
People like Straight Talk do.
Straight Talk is in his own lane, man. Straight Talk is in his own lane. So he says things I've never heard before, even coming from MAGA. But I think the difference with Straight Talk is he is further to the right than most folks identify as MAGA. I mean, he really is like Sean Hannity MAGA.
He's so bad that he had me agreeing with Gen X. And me and him do not agree on damn near anything.
He had you agree. What? Wow. What did he say to have you agreeing with Gen X?
He said something crazy and Gen X called him out on it. And I was like, yo, I actually agree with you. That's bad.
That's saying a lot, because Gen X is also pretty far to the right, but Gen X is reasonable in his own way. I do think that Straight Talk is, for the most part, just pro-Trump. It don't matter. Some people are just pro-Trump. I don't care if it's the middle of Fifth Avenue. I'm riding with Trump. Like Christy Noem, for instance, when they started calling Alex Preddy an assassin, that type of shit, you just pro-ICE. It don't matter what they do. Your first inclination is just to defend them.
Gen X was like, he was searched for that arrest record that Straight Talk was talking about, and he said he couldn't find it, which means that shit wasn't there.
Yeah, he's not the first person I heard say that today, though. And I asked the other person, I think that was Gen X, that also pointed out, we were talking privately, and he talked about how Alex Preddy had prior involvement with ICE, and they broke his rib. And I asked him that, like, well, what was he charged with? They just fucked him up and left him now? Like, he didn't get charged with anything? So it just sounds like he pissed him off. They responded by beating his ass and left him on the ground, which in itself is police brutality. If he does not have charges and he walked away with a broken rib, that's just police brutality.
But see, that's the thing. MAGA don't believe that they're police, so that the whole police brutality doesn't involve them. They're immune from it.
Whatever the case may be, if the dude ended up with a broken rib and no charges, that makes no sense outside of brutality. Okay, you talking shit to the cops, they fucked you up and left you on the ground. I mean, that's all I'm hearing. Like, there has to be some charges. You don't rough this dude up to this level. If they go hands-on and they tackling you and shit like that, you usually have done something to get charged with.
No, they just believe they have immunity, that they can do these things. That's why, like I said, this is the stuff that people on the right have been dreaming, that have been hoping the cops would do, is beating up these people that pull out their cameras and talk back. Like, they've been hoping that this shit happen, and it's like now they get to do it, because even though they don't really have immunity, what ends up happening is, oh, we'll investigate ourselves and nothing to come of it.
Yeah. But what about this? I had a few viewers, including Ken James, in the comments to say, why is this only happening in Minnesota, though? In other words, ICE is every damn where. Why is all this chaos only happening in Minnesota?
It's not only happening in Minnesota. It happened in Chicago. It happened in up in New York. It happens all over the place. People keep bringing out these stories of ICE sitting there roughing people up and throwing people in jail that have no actual charges on them. They just hold them for days to almost weeks on end for no reason.
Yeah, and I said the same thing as well, that when they were in Chicago, there was protests in Chicago and things like that. I believe they were in the suburbs of Chicago. Bridgeview or somewhere. They weren't in the actual inner city as much, but they did use Black Hawk helicopters on the southeast side of Chicago. But the difference I've stated is they've sent 3,000 agents to Minneapolis. They didn't send anywhere near that many to LA, Los Angeles, Portland, or wherever else. And
because in those areas, they was able to use the National Guard.
Right.
Remember, they
Right.
got told that they couldn't use the National Guard anymore. So now they have to come up with ICE agents.
Right.
Because remember, like the other alternative that they were thinking about doing was having Hegseth send active duty out there, but he doesn't have the authority to do it.
In the National Guard has not been anywhere near as hands-on as ICE has been. So that, I mean, ICE is making traffic stops and pulling people over for what language they speak and stuff. National Guard wasn't doing any of that stuff. So that's the reason it's happening more in Minnesota. And as I stated, he sent 3,000 agents to Minnesota, 5 times the size of their own Metro Police Force. Chicago has like 2,000 officers, I think, or something. If you sent 10,000 ICE agents to Chicago, you'd have a lot of problems. As P. Diddy would say, more agents, more problems. So that's why it's exaggerated in Minnesota. It's the sheer number of agents that are there.
Yeah, but also because local law enforcement is not working with them no more. Like local law enforcement is like, no, you're doing things that's deliberately outside the law.
Yeah, they're escalating situations. Like what happened with Alex Preddy. We can talk about Alex Preddy being an agitator or whatever, but they absolutely were full on for a fight with Alex Preddy. I mean, the agents were just as much willing to agitate him. If you argue with them, they will come up and fuck with you. If you take pictures or photos of them, there are videos of them knocking phones out of people's hands and things like that. So they will.
Exactly, which, like, tell me at any point in time, who's ever done things like that? Like, which law enforcement has ever got up to the fact and just smacked a phone out of somebody's hand and didn't get any repercussions?
There are individual members of law enforcement. You may have a bad cop here or there or a bad sheriff, but the whole department regularly doing it, this is the first.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, basically, like a lot of the new recruits that ICE has now are the ones that they couldn't pull in the military, they couldn't pull in as law enforcement, so they came into ICE because remember, ICE lowered their standards bad.
Yeah.
When you basically do no kind of background check, no kind of physicals, anything like that, and you still hire people, that tells you something.
Yeah, and there was a reporter that actually applied for the job at ICE, and she said she had marijuana in her system and all that. They hired her with no background check, no drug test or anything. In the comments, though, Smoking Blondie says Minnesota crime has dropped and have managed to pull more guns off the street in the last year than ever before. So the notion is what they're doing in Minnesota is bringing down crime. What say you?
Ask her to name her source.
I don't know what her source is, probably the Trump administration. I don't know what her source is, but I actually do believe her. I mean, you're scaring the fuck out of the whole population. Yeah, the crime is, I believe when the Gestapo was roaming around Germany, crime dropped because everybody's scared of them. It's not that crime really dropped. Hold on. It's not that, wait, hang on. It's not that crime really dropped. You just changed who the criminals are. That's the difference. Go ahead.
I was about to say, look at all the areas that ICE was in. Like, when they left, did the crime just suddenly rise in those areas, or did nothing happen?
Right. Yeah, I don't believe ICE is responsible for crime dropping because, like I said, I do believe what ICE is doing is committing crimes. I mean, I think a lot of folks' civil rights have been violated. There's only so much power you can give the police before they start becoming the criminals themselves. And I'm sure they've done a lot of stuff that have not been caught on video. Him and people up in their houses and hallways and businesses and shit. All of that stuff ain't been caught on video. So yeah, the crime from the
Hey Tim, look what MX just said. He said they've only been there a few weeks. How did they affect the crime rate that much in the last year?
Good question. I don't believe the ICE agents are bringing down crime. That's not even their goal. Their goal is to keep the liberals in check, to put the liberals in their place. That's their goal, and they're scaring the hell out of people. I don't believe they're bringing down crime at all. I just think that they've become the primary focus of the whole damn city.
Exactly.
So I don't know. So I want to ask you, because somebody asked in the comments, we did talk about this. Did you hear about what happened to Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota?
I actually saw the video. Like some dude ran up, like he sat there in the front of her press conference and then ran up and threw some kind of liquid on her.
Yeah, he sprayed her with some shit. Now, first, two things. Now, Trump says she probably staged this, but before we get into Trump, one thing needs to be noted. She needs to improve her security. I mean, because that guy shows she can be touched. So she probably needs more security if he can do that.
But it's funny you said that, because why would what do we always say about MAGA? An accusation is usually a confession.
What are you trying to say?
Somebody else staged something too.
You mean Charlie Kirk? You mean Trump in Pennsylvania?
No. I mean Trump
in Pennsylvania. The earache.
The earache that has no damage.
That is amazing that you can take a high capacity round to the ear and not walk away looking like somebody don't bitch you. Not looking like what is his name? Holyfield fighting with Tyson. Real quick, I want to play this for folks that did.
Wait. But after you play this, there's another video I want you to play.
All right.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
President Donald Trump dismissed an attack against Representative Ilhan Omar, who was sprayed with an unknown substance by an attendee of her town hall event in Minneapolis. Trump told an ABC reporter, quote, "I think she's a fraud. I really don't think about that. She probably had herself sprayed knowing her." But
it's crazy. What were you about to say? So he's blaming that whole event on her, but go ahead.
Okay. I want you to find that video of Trump when he was on stage and somebody tried to run up with a knife. And look how he reacted to that versus how he reacted to getting shot at.
Well, he didn't know he was being shot. Oh, you mean he got up defiant and saying fight, fight, fight and all of that?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think there's also a video of him running from a damn eagle or something like that. That's a good point.
And remember how his Secret Service acted like at one of those other attempts? They got him out of there quickly. This time, he was able to stand there and throw his fist up and do all kinds of shit. It's like, come on now.
Are you saying he been hanging around Jim McMahon of the WWE too long and they don't learn how to stage events?
Of course he staged an event. Talking about that shooter, he didn't have that much time. The amount of time he had at that range, me with something like that, with iron sights, no scope, no nothing, I would have picked him off easily.
Well, I mean, if he did stage it, he did a damn good job. The flag is right overhead. And I mean, it looked good. In fact, I got the book by Jonathan Karl. It's not down here now. Trump's Rise to Power, and that's actually what's on the cover. I got that for Christmas. I mean, it is a great photo of him saying fight, fight, fight with the black leather gloves on, and the Secret Service is surrounding him. Got old Gloria flying above him. If it's staged, it's good.
There's actually like somebody that was right there. Like there's a video with somebody actually right there telling the photographers, "Hey, get over here. Take this angle. Take this angle."
No, the man is a showman. Unlike anyone else, he is really good at doing what it takes to make himself look good in the media. I mean, he's really good at that. Yeah, Vince McMahon, that's who it is. Not Jim McMahon was. I'm thinking about the Chicago Bears. Yeah, Vince McMahon, maestro. Yeah, it said Trump learned that from Vince McMahon, WWE wrestling, when they pull the razor and cut your ears. Yeah, you're going back to the 80s with the cuts, but yeah. That's what I said. So you think it was staged, huh?
That man made it look like his actual earlobe got hit and it miraculously healed in 2 weeks. Miraculously healed with no damage, no scarring, nothing in 2 weeks.
But then how do you explain the fact that someone did die at that event?
Because that person probably got shot, not Trump. Trump didn't take shit.
He staged an event where somebody lost their life. You sound like MAGA with this conspiracy. He staged an event. So in other words, somebody is complicit in a murder then.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, for something like that, they would not, no security would allow a president, something like that, to be out in the open after they attempt has been made on their life. It wouldn't even take 30 seconds to get them off the stage.
Yeah, I don't understand how Trump in his late 70s could battle with multiple Secret Service agents to say fight. Yeah, I would imagine they would have been overpowering him. And then they got this woman that's out there who is, a foot shorter than him, which makes no sense when she's trying to stand in front of him and block the bullets. Yeah, that made no sense. But I don't know. You think that was a staged event with somebody getting murdered? That's what makes it hard to accept. Somebody died there that day.
Exactly. Somebody did die, but like I said, Trump wasn't nowhere near hit.
How about this? Louise Miguel in the comments says they probably made a deal with the wife of the deceased of the firefighter, like Charlie Kirk's wife. They made a deal with her so her husband her husband gets killed? No way. No. I don't believe that. I don't know. Listen, we can accuse
That man got about 5 minutes of notoriety from his death on that, and you ain't heard nobody. They don't even mention that man no more.
Well, they gave the wife an award. They gave her, I think they gave her $1 million. I mean, they looked out for her.
They looked out. You say they looked out for her, but remember, like his death wasn't like part of the no policy or anything that they wanted to do, because they keep every time they mention what's that girl name that got killed by the illegal immigrant?
Lincoln Riley. Oh, you mean they didn't pass a law? Well,
No, not that they still bring her up. They use that name politically.
Well, they're using Lincoln Riley because they're currently going at the illegal immigrants and suggesting that some of them come in the country and they hurt Americans. But in regards to what happened to Trump, they're not going to pass any legislation because Trump asked the Biden administration while he was still a citizen campaigning for president, give me more security. I don't have ample security. And I believe the Biden administration authorized it. So there was no need to pass any law. I mean, he was a former president running for re-election. He just should have had better and more security with him. I mean, the dude is on the roof with clear line of sight to Trump. That roof should not have been exposed. Somebody should have been on that roof. There's no reason why he should have been able to climb on the roof and get a clear shot like that. Same with Charlie Kirk, by the way. Same thing. Somebody climbed on the roof and was able to get a clear shot. But Trump is a former president. There's no way that should have been able to happen.
You're right. And like I said, anything negative like that, they'll point at somebody else. They won't say, "Oh, well, who's the people that you want around you?" Because you can pick and choose and say, "Hey, I don't want this person that's my security," or "I don't want that person my security."
No, I mean, I get it, but the idea that Trump staged that while somebody got murdered is a hard pill to swallow. That one's, I mean, look, I don't put it past any politician staging something for their benefit, but somebody got murdered at that. So we're basically saying that Trump, or at least his administration or campaign, are complicit in a murder. That's a hard step to take.
Okay, what's been going on since he's been in office?
What do you mean, murders? What do you get?
Yes, murders.
Yeah. I mean,
we just had one a couple weeks ago, Tim. Well, no, not even a couple weeks ago. It was like last week.
Who are you referring to? Freddie?
Yeah.
Well,
not to mention all the ones that died in detention that nobody seems to know, like, what the hell happened.
Yeah, that's bad. And the same, all of the alligator Alcatraz people that are missing now, we don't know where. I mean, maybe no country took them, so they just dumped them off in the Everglades or something. We don't know. I mean, that is a problem where so many folks that were here illegally are now just missing in action like an old Chuck Norris movie. I don't understand that. But do you see the Trump administration similar to the Third Reich, where they're willing to actually execute people to make a point?
It's getting to that point. Remember, Trump is the type that if you don't listen to what he says, he wants to be able to do whatever he wants to you. You know it's bad when you got a Republican nominee talking about I'm dropping out the race because I don't want to have nothing to do with this.
Yeah. Well, and I see in the comments, Rottweiler said it's called fear. It's working. It's working. It shows that having the Second Amendment in this country does nothing. If you know how to properly do things, people, even with firearms, are going to stand down. I mean, just like Preddy had a firearm, and look what happened. So having a firearm does not prevent tyranny. I got to move it on, James. It's frightening times, but there has to be hope, man. This can't be it.
And if Straight Talk's in here, look, I had less time than you did.
About what, a minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's talking about, oh, you let all the liberals go all the time they want.
Straight Talk believes that Straight Talk is right all the time. Ain't nothing I can do with that. Straight Talk hears Straight Talk. Should be more like my talk, but Straight Talk only hears himself. Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
No problem, Tom.
Anytime. And by the way, I'm giving a lot of folks more time than we normally do. I may end up altering that just to take more callers on, drop it down to 10 or 15, just so we can get more callers on. Thank you, Jerry Lee, for the respect. But yeah, I mean, we do want to get as many people on as possible. Every show we do. I mean, and it's unfortunate because I certainly like to hear from the people, but every show we do, there are people that end up not getting on because of the sheer number, and that's not something that's done by design. We try to bring everybody on if we can, but I see in the comments, Mr. Mobetta says 10 to 12 or something like, yeah, we may end up dropping that just so, but some folks, it's good conversation. And unfortunately, sometimes in 10 minutes is not enough because we're pushing back. So in that 10, if it's a true debate, out of 10 minutes, the caller should only get it probably between 6 and 7 minutes because you got to give time for the host to counter. So you're not going to get the full 10. So you're only going to get so when we're doing 20 minutes, you're probably going to get 15 minutes or so. We may end up changing that just so we can get more people on the program. But looking in the comments real quick here, I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody or miss any super chats, which, by the way, the TikTok Cap Go help your boy out. You need to have a native, I guess you mean Native American. You got naive there. You need to have a Native American like me on there. I've had some Native Americans. I got some conservatives. But they keep in mind, there's a lot of folks that claim I got a little bit of Cherokee in my blood. There's a lot of Native Americans. Now, a Native American that's still living on the reservation, I would love to get, but there's a lot of folks that are floating around that have, hell, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. It's a lot of Native Americans out there. So, but yeah, unfortunately, unlike the Hispanic community and definitely unlike the Black community, the Native Americans haven't stood up and pushed back against the system as much. And unfortunately, it's made it so that they've been greatly marginalized compared to other communities. Because people are, why do Blacks always complain you're free now and shit like that? Well, so are the Native Americans, but they're not involved in anything. They don't have the power. Whereas, you don't have a Black president and Black governors and shit. So I wish the Native Americans would speak more on their issues. I mean, after all, this was their country taken from them. But it's a whole different conversation. The Native Americans do not make a lot of national news because they're kind of tucked away in their own environment. They do have a somewhat sovereignty, at least on their reservations. So they don't complain anywhere near enough for as much as they've lost. So unfortunately, the consequence is out of sight, out of mind. And I hate to say it like that. But anyway, looking in the comments, 400 years is a long time. Yeah, it is. It really is. But the Native Americans weren't getting treated any better during those 400 years. I would tell you what happened to the Native Americans is probably worse than what happened to African Americans because a lot of them were slaughtered. I mean, we're here. They brought us over here to work. They were just trying to kill all of them off. So they didn't get to work. They got killed. So to me, what happened to the Native Americans is even worse than what happened to African Americans. But neither one, it ain't a pissing contest. Neither situation is good. Both situations were terrible. Because there's plenty of Blacks that also got killed as well. But the Native Americans, yeah, they were just trying to extinguish them. Gen X, fuck around and find out what's going on. We'll give you 10. What's up?
What's going on, Mr. Tim?
Not much.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. My feelings are hurt.
Explain.
Man, I'm almost got tears in my eyes. My MAGA card is in question.
Get down to the fucking. What are you trying to? What are you indicating? What are you talking about?
My MAGA card is in question.
From who? Oh, you mean Straight Talk? He did say that. Yes.
MAGA cards. That would be like Miss Mulbetta, Mike, and Kingpin pulling your black card. Man, that hurts.
Yeah, he said you ain't. He said you ain't real MAGA.
Now let me read this to you real quick. When I did my search earlier, I used a couple of websites that I paid for, Truthfinder, and the other one's called Been Verified, whatever. But I print my shit out, and I asked it something like I asked Google too. But here was I did the AI, and this is what it put in a nutshell. I asked, was Alex Petty charged with anything when he got his broken rib? No, Alex Petty was not charged in a crime during an incident where he suffered a broken rib. Current reports and investigations into the encounter, which occurred roughly a week before his death in January 2026, detailed the following. Reports indicate Petty suffered a broken rib when 5 federal officers tackled him while he was protesting U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement actions in Minneapolis. There's no record of Petty being charged or even a formal record of the incident or a complaint from the Department of Homeland Security, though medical records confirmed that he received treatment consistent with a broken rib shortly after the confrontation, which was probably, I'm guessing, painkillers, because anybody who's played football or broke a collarbone or a rib knows, unless they got to set it, there's really no treatment. The only thing you can do is give your ass some pain pills and tell you good luck.
But think about that. If they tackled him, which means they went hands-on violently, breaking his rib and didn't charge him with anything. That's police brutality, Gen X. That means he was probably talking some shit, arguing with them or something like that, but not actually breaking the law. So they decided to fuck him up to show him a lesson and left him there. That's police brutality.
Well, let me say this too. Just because I couldn't find anything doesn't mean he didn't get detained.
He's the most talked about. He's the most talked about man. Gen X. He is the most talked about man in America right now. If they charged him with something, you would easily find it. The Trump administration would probably be telling you what it is. They fucked him up and left him there.
If they formally charged him, if they just detained him temporarily and let him go with no charges, it's a possibility. I'm 95% sure that's not the case. Again, you know me, I'm pretty thorough with my research.
Well,
so I'm guessing no. But
I'm just going to say everybody on the right is indicating this guy was an agitator and he was fucking with law enforcement. He was wrong. If he had charges, they would have found him by now. You wouldn't need Google. The Trump administration would be the fact that they're not telling you he had any charges means they're not there. He would have a mug. This just happened 2 weeks ago. They would have a mugshot and everything.
He was an agitator, 100%. The motherfucker got his ass whooped, a rib broken, got chased off. They gave him a break, and he went back a week later with a firearm.
Yeah, but you realize
your lesson the first time, you dumb fuck.
You do realize agitating is not a crime. Nobody's ever been charged with agitating as a crime. That's just talking shit to the police, maybe fucking with them. And all of a sudden, they literally decided to tune this dude up. That is police brutality. If no charges show up.
Hold on. Stopping your car, this is the first incident. Stopping your car, getting out of your car, blowing a whistle, getting yourself involved. That's called instruction. That actually.
Blowing a whistle. No, blowing a whistle ain't a. Blowing a whistle ain't a. What the hell? Blowing a whistle?
Disorderly conduct.
No, it's not.
Disturbing the peace.
Blowing a.
Fuck if it's not.
You gonna get your rib broken because you was blowing a whistle? What the hell are you trying to
get you? Go get you one of those South American Inca death whistles with that horrible sound. Go out in front of your house and start blowing that motherfucker till the cops come. And when they come, tell them, I'm not going. I'm okay. You're getting your ass whipped.
That's what happened. That's what happened. He got his ass whipped. But let's be clear. If they wouldn't the police do not go hands-on with you physically, violently, and not arrest you unless it's police brutality. If they do all that to you, there should be some charge. Give me an example of why the police would do all that to a citizen.
When I was 16, 18, 20, and in my early 20s, I got my ass whipped more than once and never got charged.
For what? What did you get your ass whipped for? What did you get your ass whipped for?
Let's see, spitting at a cop, stolen vehicle, running out of a fucking store with a handful of chips and candy in Brooklyn.
Those are all crimes.
Yeah, I got the New York cops got no problem whipping.
But
your ass
everything you stated, Gen X, everything you stated is a crime. I don't. What is the crime that Alex Preddy committed?
Disturbing the peace, obstructing law.
You can't tackle a motherfucker for disturbing the peace, for making noise, blowing a whistle. You don't tackle the dude for that.
When you keep going back and they've told your dumb ass, go, leave it alone, we're letting you go, and you carry on and on and on, I don't care if it's locals, sheriffs, state troopers, feds, you just signed a contract to get your ass whooped.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Gen X. It's kind of like the Chris Rock thing about how to not get your ass beat by police. But fact is, that is police brutality. We all know that some police can be provoked into committing a crime and getting involved in an act of police brutality. But let's not deny what it is. It is police brutality.
Now wait, Bama in your chat brought up a real good point that he kicked the taillight out of an ICE vehicle, which is true, but it didn't tell me whether that was during the first engagement.
It wasn't when his rib got broken, I can tell you that.
I don't know. Like I said, it didn't show me that, so I don't know. But he did. He walked behind one of the ICE cars and kicked the back light out as he walked by. Yeah. That's in the report.
I'm still trying to figure out if him kicking that video, because we had that video on this program tonight. I still need to, because that's the first time I had seen it. I'm still trying to make sure that that's an actual video, that actually happened, because I'm surprised the Trump administration ain't brought up the rib breaking incident or the light, because they've been anti-Alex Preddy ever since he got shot in pro-ICE, and they ain't bringing that stuff up. So that's kind of funny that the Trump administration ain't bringing that stuff up. Like you mentioned about the charges. If he had charges, the Trump administration would have told you that. They ain't bringing none of that stuff up. So that's kind of fishy.
MAGA just brought up that the taillight thing was the same as the broken rib. MAGA, you got my DM stuff. If you can send me that information, because I catalog it and I print it out. And I'd really like to have that for a later date, man. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd like to see it. It would at least add a little bit of. I still think what they did on the scene when they took his life was overboard, but it would add context to what folks are saying. I still think the taking of his life was unjustified. I don't know why the lady was shoved down to the ground either. Once again, was she charged with anything? So it just seems like their response is to go hands-on and be physical with people. If she wasn't charged with anything, that's wrong too. Why are you guys getting violent with people that are not committing any official crime?
Here's the other thing, Tim. I'm still not convinced that when he disarmed Alex, that weapon didn't discharge. He was carrying a 6-hour P320, which is notorious for discharging. Normally when it's bumped, roughed up, dropped, shit like that, but it's still got a history of doing it. Now, if that gun, I'm not saying it did, if that gun did discharge and he knew this, that gun didn't load itself. Why would you put a round in the pipe? Why would you chamber a round and bring that particular model?
Because you're not expecting the gun to be dropped.
Hold on, let me finish.
What?
Let me finish. That particular model does not have an external safety mechanism. It's called a combat series. So when you load it, you shoot it.
Because you're not expecting.
Loaded, he had bad intentions.
You're not expecting the gun to be dropped or have somebody disarm you. I mean, it didn't. Let me just say it like this. I don't care how flaky that gun is. It didn't go off in his care, so he's not responsible for the gun going off if somebody disarmed. That would be like if you carried that firearm for your personal defense weapon, and during a robbery somebody took it from you and it went off in their hands. They don't get to say, well, you shouldn't have been carrying this. No, you shouldn't be taking it off of me. What the officers did, if they are the reason that gun went off, it didn't go off while he was Why they were throwing him to the ground, breaking his rib, none of it. It didn't go off until one of those dudes reached and took it, which means it probably was them putting their hands on the trigger and squeezing it, as opposed to a defective firearm.
And I've looked at this video again and again and again. It's kind of blurry. You cannot tell when they show the angle of him stepping away, holding the weapon. You can't really tell if his fingers are around the grip, or if he's got one finger in the on the trigger.
What about them beating him in the head with a can of OC spray? You think that's legit? A metal can to his head?
He was fighting them.
He was not fighting them. Who did he hit? Who did he punch? Who did he shove?
Well, he chose to fight 6 motherfuckers.
He ain't fight. Who got hit? He's in a fight where he didn't throw a punch. He didn't shove. Is there any video footage of him shoving, pushing, punching, spitting on, kicking anybody in that fight?
All right, if you want to do semantics, he didn't get into a fight. He got into an ass whipping.
Yes, thank you. So I go back to the original comment. Was it legitimate to hit him on the head with a metal can of OC spray?
He was resisting, Tim. Any way you fucking put it, he was
resisting so violently that it's okay to hit him on the head with a metal can.
Violent enough to get himself shot, yeah.
You crazy, Gen X. I gotta move it on. I gave you your 10. I gotta move it on.
I honestly think happened, and I'll let you go.
Right.
Here's what I honestly think happened, and I'll let you go. And there's no evidence to prove this. What I think is that weapon did discharge, and them motherfuckers lost their minds and just started shooting. Because you hear one round go off, and then you hear like 3 reports, and then 4 or 5 more, and everything stopped. But it's quick. If you're one of those officers standing around him and you hear a pop, and your weapon's already drawn, your instinct is to unload on that suspect. Right or wrong, that's subjective.
Yeah, but the problem is when you're firing rounds, Gen X, you're accountable for every round that leaves your firearm. You need to explain, what are you seeing that's making you shoot? Well, I heard something. This is a protest. People are whistling. There's noises. You're just shooting people because something you heard. Do you see anything from the guy you're shooting to suggest that noise came from him? No, I heard it. That ain't gonna fly. I don't think that would fly. This guy's on the ground. Look at the position of his hands.
The report of a gunshot 1.5 feet away from him or coming directly under him isn't going to sound any different. And all that way, you can tell the difference between the report of a gunshot and a whistle.
Yeah, but you got eyes too, Gen X. You got eyes. The guy that's on the ground, does he look like he's in a shooting stance? I mean, like,
there's 6 motherfuckers over him.
Right. So this guy is obviously not going to be shooting anybody. There's 6 motherfuckers over him. You're right. You ain't even one of the motherfuckers. Why are you shooting? Ain't none of them indicating they're getting shot at. So what the hell are you doing standing above all this shooting down at them for?
They were standing around him. They heard something. Now, again, I don't know if that's what happened. I think best case scenario that's what happened, unfortunately, and somebody lost their life.
Let's just do the man a favor and send his family a few $1 million and call this one wrong before the courts do the same thing against these folks. They're going to pay his family. That shit was fucked up. It's plain and simple. And then the whole broken rib shit comes out with no charges. This dude was protesting and agitating them, and they decided we're going to fuck him up for his troubles the first time. And when he showed up the second time, it's exactly what you said. I can't believe this motherfucker didn't learn this lesson. Let's fuck him up again. That's what happened. Call it as you see it. I got to move it on, Gen X. Appreciate it.
All right, Tim. Hey, you have a good night, brother. Always a pleasure, man. You have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.
Same. And by the way, folks, I do got to step away. Not normally what we do, but I got to step away. Follow the program if you're watching on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. Give us a sub. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got to step away. And thank you folks for tuning in on Instagram as well. Catch you guys later, and I'm out.